Hello, my friend. How are you
Oh,
today?
I'm doing very well. I just came from a massage, so
Oh,
I have
you're
like, massage face, all these lines everywhere. So I worked really hard on trying to pretty myself up for you.
well, you did. You did
I
lovely. Thanks.
thank you.
Yes.
Yes, the filter does wonders. It literally looked like I had a unibrow because of the way that the line went right there. It just kind of
Uh,
cut across the top of my bridge of my nose, but
but does it matter? You should be all like relaxed and
um
chilled after a nice little massage.
yeah, it
So
was pretty
that's
good.
a
I
good
mean,
thing.
I really get along with my massage therapist. Like, I've
Hmm.
been going to her for about 5 years now, and so it's more like we chat a lot.
Yeah.
But she's pretty good because after we chat for a little while, then she kind of knows when I just want to lie there and drift off and
Hmm.
enjoy. So she'll just stop talking, and I'll stop talking, and I don't hold it against her, and she doesn't hold it against me. So
Perfect.
it's
Perfect.
great. It's a good balance,
Can
you
you
know?
fall asleep during a massage?
I have, yeah.
Okay. So, because I can never fall asleep during a massage,
Really?
ever. Never have I ever.
I used to just sit there and count, like feel bad about how much time was going by. I'd just be thinking, oh no, I only have like half an hour left. Oh no, I only have 20 minutes left, and you can't enjoy a massage when you do that. So
No, no, you definitely can't do that. So,
relax and enjoy it.
yeah. Oh, I think I do relax and enjoy it. I just can't fall asleep. But I'm not a napper either. So
No, me either.
maybe that has something to do with it. I don't know.
Are
Who
you
knows?
wanting to fall asleep?
Am I wanting? I don't know.
Well, I mean, if
I
you
mean,
don't want to fall asleep, maybe
right?
you
Doesn't
want to
matter. I
stay
feel
on your
like
guard. You'd
I
like,
want it. Well, yeah, I feel like I need to enjoy it, right?
yeah.
And really feel it.
Yeah, because if you're sleeping, you could call it maximizing, but you're not maximally enjoying it, I guess. I don't
I
know.
guess it
Depends
depends
on the
on
day, really, Christina.
the day. It probably depends on your perspective of what is most important. Is it like feeling the feelings, or is it like just totally being in that total state of relaxation?
Yeah. Yeah,
Either which way, it's a win because you're getting a massage.
I know. And it's paid for. So, I
That's
mean,
even better.
that's a double win as far as I'm
Yeah.
concerned. I'm really happy with that.
Yeah.
Although my benefits from my new job, they started April 1st.
Hmm.
But I don't have the billing numbers or anything yet. So I can't actually direct bill. And I know first world problems, this is ridiculous that I'm even feeling like about it, but I pay her up front and then I have to collect all the receipts to claim later. I'm
Yeah.
just kind of like, please send me the numbers so that I can bill Pacific Blue Cross and you know
Yeah. Yeah.
but I'm
Oh,
just grateful. I'm grateful that I'm in a position where I can say, "Oh, I want a massage next week," and I can book it and I can pay for it. So,
yeah, for sure. For sure.
yeah.
Huh.
First world problems.
Cool. Yes.
Falling
Speaking of,
asleep during a massage.
yeah, right. Yes. Or having to upfront pay and then get
Yeah.
reimbursed.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow, wow, wow.
Yeah, right. Oh,
You
oh
know,
well. So
I'm
anyway,
blessed in many areas, that's for sure.
there
That
you
is one of
go.
them. Grateful for
Yeah.
that. So, are
Yeah.
you baking
Sure.
anything these days?
Let's see. This week I baked up I do a weekly batch of these oatmeal breakfast protein bar things.
Hmm.
So I did those with dates and walnuts, which is kind of the
Nice.
original that I started with. And then I've been like, I switched up every single week kind of thing. So
Yeah.
boredom doesn't,
Set in.
creep up. Yeah, set in.
You eat those every morning?
I don't. My
Or you
husband
give?
does.
Oh, okay.
My husband eats those.
Can't let him
And
be bored.
yeah, and then I made some biscotti. I had made some biscotti in a long, long time. And so my husband had a craving for some biscotti. So it's not often that he asks me to like bake
Make
something for
something
him.
particular.
So
Yeah.
yeah. So I did dried cherry and pistachio
Pistachio.
biscotti.
That was the first thing I thought of when you said biscotti. Biscotti was pistachio. I was like, oh,
Ah,
I
there
need
you
to
go.
make some with dipped in white chocolate with a little bit of pistachio on. That
Hmm.
sounds really
Really
nice.
good. And it's such a nice combo, that cherry and the pistachio together. And it's so
Gotta
pretty
have
to
your
eat too.
cherries. Yeah, you love those cherries.
I do love cherry, and I can't wait for cherry
I
season.
know. So much to
My
look
favorite
forward
time of
to.
year.
I know. Isn't it nice now that we're getting the sun
Mhm.
and you can wake up and see outside. It's bright and you can hear the birds
Mhm.
chirping and then be like, wow, what am I doing inside? I need to be outside. So the
Totally.
feeling of like winter is over, we're finally moving into this warmer weather and being
Yeah.
able to go for walks.
And the
Well,
long
here
days.
we've been able to go for walks anyway.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
this morning I did not have to wear a sweater and I ended up actually getting overheated in just the light little windbreaker that I put on. So I was okay with that.
Yeah. There you go. I know. And the longer days are just so beautiful. I so appreciate those. And yeah,
Yeah.
having a little bit more sunshine every day
Oh,
is
so nice.
yeah,
We're getting there. We're getting
surprising.
closer to summer.
Yeah. Yeah. How about you? What have you been baking?
Oh, we have Airbnb guests downstairs right now.
Ah.
And the guests I had put when I first started the Airbnb last summer, I had put down, if you want breakfast options, they're available for an additional charge. And nobody's ever taken me up on them or asked me. And now I've had two guests book and say, hey, what are the breakfast options? So I was like, okay, I better think of some breakfast options really quickly. So I gave a few different options, like we can stock your fridge with some staples.
Mhm.
Um, we can do a hot breakfast on a weekend. We could give you like kind of a rustic brunchy type thing delivered to your door, just arrange the time. And so they chose a few different things. And so I baked some rustic carrot muffins and
Nice.
some
Mm.
lavender blueberry scones
Mm.
and some bread. So, and then I included all the recipes for them with a little header that says Ford Acres on it because our Airbnb is called Ford Acres, named after our Ford dog. Um, Chris
Wow,
named
what an
it.
honor. Only he
Yeah.
got the honor of being
Yeah.
named.
Yeah, I don't know, but I mean, also Chris has a Ford truck and there's a Ford Focus out there and he likes Ford.
He
He's
likes
happy.
sports.
That's why Ford has his name anyway. So I'm okay with it. We can call it Ford Acres as long as it looks the way that I want it to look and it runs the way I want it to run. So I don't care what we call it. But yeah, so
Very
I
cool.
I had some staples in the fridge for them, creamer and specialty teas, and I made these little yogurt parfaits
Oh,
and
how nice.
yeah, brought everything down this morning at 9 o'clock for the extra stuff that they had asked for. So the scones were nice and warm, and the muffins were warm, and they got their fresh boiled eggs. And yeah, they seemed really, really happy with it. They said the world needs to know about your baking, and I said,
Uh,
yeah, I'm already
we're
trying to
trying.
share it
We're
with the world,
trying.
which made me feel pretty good. So
Yeah. Oh,
yeah,
very cool.
I
How
didn't
nice.
get
And
to
what a
taste the
special
bread,
treat for
but.
them. Hmm?
Yeah. I said I didn't get to taste the bread, unfortunately, because you can't, hack it in half and then just give them half a loaf. But they said it was very good. So
Good. Make two
happy.
loaves next time.
I know. Well, it was an overnight rise. It was kind of a different attempt for a rustic loaf for me. And so I was like, I'm not going to waste another 500 grams of flour in case this doesn't work, because I'll have to
There.
redo it with a standard recipe that I know how to do in less time if it doesn't work. And then when it looked and smelled good and, tapped it and it was nice and hollow sounding, I was like, okay,
You're
that's
good.
theirs. They're getting
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Perfect. Oh, how
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, it was really
Wonderful.
fun. Yeah, super fun.
Good. Good,
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. So we now get to share our interview with the wonderful Andrew Evers.
Oh, yes. We've been wanting to speak with him for so, so long, and I'm so happy that we were finally having the opportunity to have that conversation with him
Yes.
and learn a little bit more about him and his journey on Great Canadian Baking Show.
Yeah, he's so fantastic. So
Mhm.
I'm really glad that we finally had the ability to meet and to chat, and we hope that everybody else also really enjoys what we chatted about. So with no further ado, please
Welcome,
welcome
Andrew.
Andrew. Hi,
Oh,
Andrew.
Hi, Lisa Cristina. Yeah, it's been a
so good
long
to,
time coming, eh?
it
Yeah.
Oh,
has.
it's
It
so
really,
good to
really has
see you.
been.
Yeah,
I'm
it's so good to see you. Yeah, this is exciting. Yeah.
good. Well, we
You
are
ready for it?
super excited.
I'm ready. I'm ready. Yeah, I've been listening to your podcast from the beginning.
Oh,
Oh,
And
wow.
so, yeah, it's on my list of podcasts because I walk to and from work, and so it's on my list of podcasts that I listen to every week. And yeah,
Oh,
you're a great interviewer, so it's great. So it's really exciting that I'm
that
here
it's
now.
you.
Well,
It's
we're
me.
You're being interviewed now.
Yay!
Yeah,
Well, we
yeah,
can't tell you how excited and thrilled we are to have you with us today. I know it has been a very long time coming, and then
yeah.
we were ready to book stuff, and then it was like we had to pause for a bit, and
Oh
so
yeah, yeah.
finally we got our schedules together and our together, and here you are, and here
You
you
Yeah,
did
are.
you did
I'm
promise from
here.
the beginning that you would be listening.
Yes.
So I
Oh
mean
yeah,
that's
yeah,
pretty
definitely.
I'm so
Yeah,
glad
yeah.
to hear that.
I need a another baking podcast, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's yeah, it was good. Yeah, I'm
So
glad you started it up. It's great. Yeah.
Oh,
that's so awesome to hear.
thanks.
So maybe you can tell us because we've been kind of pondering on whether our format is too long because a lot of okay.
No.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
no. I don't think so. I think because you had asked this question, I think in one of your earlier episodes, and
Mhm.
I messaged one of you, and like, so my walk to work is 50 minutes, and
Mhm.
it's like okay, and then I listened to half the podcast on the way there, and then I listened to the other half on the way home, and I think if you need that amount of time to get to get what you need and to have that interesting conversation and really get to I think you need the time to get to know the person that you're talking to
Yeah.
and I know from as a listener many of the people had not been introduced to until your podcast and getting to know them through the podcast and then I start following them on Instagram and so I can understand maybe why some podcasts like the shorter format it works for it but
Hmm.
I just feel like in this format to get to know someone and get to know the baker and connect with them. Sometimes the longer form is needed, right?
Okay.
So,
Oh, well,
yeah,
that's
I like it. Yeah, it's fine with me.
Awesome.
Yeah,
oh, that's
fine
really
with this
cool.
fine from this person, this one
Awesome.
person, but
Well,
yeah,
That's
you
what
know,
we need the feedback and
exactly.
yeah,
anyone who's giving it to us. Yeah.
And
yeah,
really, I think you nailed it when you said, that some of the bakers you might not know who they are,
yeah,
and I think that's why one of the reasons why we started this podcast was to actually continue building that
yeah,
baking community and introducing new bakers to other people that might not be familiar with them, and so
yeah,
I think, yeah, that's so cool. I'm so happy that you're a
yeah.
listener,
It's great.
and
Yeah.
even happier that you're actually here and we get to interview you this time
I'm
around.
excited. Yeah, this is great. Yeah,
Oh,
let's go.
cool. Yes.
All
All right.
right.
Well, let's get on.
Yeah.
Get it
Let's
going then.
get it on.
Let's
Sorry,
get it on.
I'm still in
We
survivor
need
mode
we
because
need that music, that bong, bong, bong,
Yeah,
bong
yeah,
music.
yeah. No kidding. Yeah, that you do you have do you have a theme song? Yeah, you used to
we
have a theme
do.
song. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
but
Yeah.
it's just too much work to add it in the middle of the
Well, I couldn't
podcast.
imagine like I can barely edit a reel for Instagram,
Right.
and like I couldn't imagine editing a podcast. Like it just seems daunting. But
Well,
you're doing
yeah.
great. So
Well, thanks.
yeah,
We don't edit anymore.
Just
In
yeah,
let
the
it go.
in the
yeah.
beginning, I was
It makes it
spending
more
like,
natural. Makes the
Yeah,
well,
conversation more natural for sure.
that's
Yeah,
totally.
yeah,
that's what we hope
yeah.
for. Sometimes we have to take some little things out,
That maybe,
Sometimes we're like,
yeah,
oh, I don't know, we maybe shouldn't
yeah.
have said,
Like
I don't
maybe like a little somebody spilling the
know,
tea
something
on like a
silly.
Tea.
secret that shouldn't
That
be out
too.
there,
Mhm.
that
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
stuff, or yeah, or usually it's me saying something that maybe we shouldn't say.
And then she
Yeah.
says, please take that out.
Can you
So
take that
I will
out?
indulge her.
Our friend
Um,
Patty, right? Our friend
oh,
Patty, right?
Patty was
Patty,
really
Patty
good.
was awesome.
Oh
We
yeah,
only had to edit very little.
Yeah,
she's amazing. Yeah, I love her.
your
Yeah,
She was
baking
yeah.
so much fun.
bestie.
Yeah,
Yeah, she's one. Yeah, we've become really good friends. Yeah, yeah, we have.
so
Yeah,
Oh,
awesome.
great.
Yeah, she's really fun. Yeah, in the
well,
beginning, I was taking like, sorry, I'm just gonna finish
oh,
this.
no, yeah, yeah, yeah.
I was taking like 8 hours a day to edit everything,
No.
like try to make it really, flow naturally and keep it to we were trying to keep it to 43 minutes.
Yeah,
It did not work. And
yeah,
and then the software that we were using kept crashing and we just had the hardest time with it. So now I'm just like, okay, we hit go and we're not recording our intro and outro at the same time that we
yeah,
interview people
yeah,
anymore. So now it's like, okay, we've got this person that's going to air on Tuesday. Let's do an intro
yeah,
for it so that it's more current and more
Current.
relevant. So that's pretty much the only editing
yeah.
that I need to do now, except for just the little teaser trailers that we put out there. So
Yeah,
it's
great.
made it a lot easier.
Yeah,
Mhm,
that's awesome.
mhm.
We
Yeah,
just get the fun
perfect.
part.
That's
Yes.
it. Yeah,
Yes,
that's what it's supposed to be, fun, right? So,
Right?
exactly. Yes.
yeah, yeah,
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah.
No. So very cool. All right. So let's get to it. So, tell us how your baking journey started out.
Started, yeah.
How did you end up in the kitchen baking so many beautiful things?
Yeah. Yeah. So, I wasn't one of those kids that grew up with parents that did a lot of baking. My mom did a little bit of baking, but mostly enjoyed eating baking as a kid. But it wasn't until grad school that I really got into it. I have two friends of mine, and we're still friends today, that got me really into it, Cass and Emily. And they were always in the kitchen. They were baking, they were cooking, and really got me introduced to it, and it really got me introduced to flavor too. Like I grew up in like old school European where everything was like steamed and like cooked to like we had to make sure it was dead, right? And
Mhm.
everything was like some sort of shade of like beige on the plate.
Yeah, you
Uh-oh.
get a
And
meat, a veggie, and a
yeah,
starch.
that's exactly it. It was a meat, a potato, or like a meat, a vegetable, and some sort of potato. Like it wasn't even
Usually
like
potato.
yeah, it didn't even venture into like pasta and rice, right? Like,
Yeah.
and so got me introduced, realized that like I was like, oh, this is kind of cool and tasty and fun. And then my friend Emily, every year she made our birthday cakes, and so she would come to each of us and be like, oh, give me two flavors that you really like, and then she'd whip up our birthday cake. And one year, this is probably about 15 years ago, I was like, Emily, I'm going to make your cake this year. Like, I'm going to do it. And she's like, okay. But I don't think I want a cake. I was like, oh, all right. What do you want? I want a pavlova. I was like, okay, let's see. Let's see how this goes. She wanted it to be chocolate and vanilla. And and I did not have any baking equipment. Like I had like whisk and stuff like that. So I made a pavlova by hand, like whisking by hand. I did not have a stand mixer. I did not have a hand mixer. I made a pavlova by hand. And I don't know if you've ever tried it. It probably takes like half hour, 45 minutes to actually get the egg whites like done.
I'm
Like it
sure.
was
That's
it
crazy.
was nuts. Yeah. And I did it. So it was a chocolate pavlova, had vanilla, just vanilla whipped cream, had some berries on it, and that was it. And I was like, oh wow, this is like pretty cool. And yeah, it turned out pretty well. And then after that, met my partner, Mark, and we've been together for 14 years, and we both like to host dinners and I think dessert is probably the most important part of a meal. I think it's like it's what guests
100%.
I think it's what guests like when they leave your house, it's the one thing they're thinking about. And took a lot of care in desserts and making desserts for friends and family. And then friends and family started like, oh, can you make a cake for my birthday? And started making cakes for birthdays. And yeah, just sort of got hooked on it from there. So yeah, probably better part about 15 years. I've been kind of baking and making a mess of my kitchen and yeah. Yeah
Yeah, you should see my kitchen
collecting
right now.
yeah collecting all the tools. Yeah, we had to market my partner Mark and I, we have a closet in the basement that was basically like installed so that I can put all my baking stuff in it.
How amazing. How
Yeah, yeah,
amazing is
That is
that?
but
wonderful.
yeah, I
Yeah.
got pretty hooked on it, yeah, from there.
Yeah. Very cool. So, how did that lead you? So, obviously, it's wonderful that you started baking because of friends and making that one pavlova by hand, which I don't know
Yeah.
about you, but I think a lot of people would have probably given up at that point.
Yeah, I was determined.
Yeah.
I'm making this. It was for a birthday. I can't disappoint, right? And for someone who
Fair,
like
fair.
baked all our cakes, I was like I
Yeah.
had to
Yeah.
happen. Yeah.
That is amazing. What a labor of love on that
Yeah.
one. So, but that's cool. And then just, entertaining. And I agree with you, dessert 100% best part of every single
Yeah.
meal. No doubt. And you have to have a little something sweet after you have
Agreed.
a meal,
Yeah.
right? At least I do.
I
It's
do.
so
Yeah,
foreign. It's
still
still
do.
so
Yeah, for
foreign to
sure.
me. That's something
Yeah.
that
Oh,
we never ever did. We never had dessert. We would get our
That's
tea
interesting because
and ice
you're
cream.
Dutch. You're Dutch. You have Dutch background too, which is so
Yeah.
funny because like I'm Dutch, on my
Yeah.
father's side, and I grew up like after my dinner, we always had something sweet. grew up with it. It was never really homemade, but
Yeah.
it was just something. Yeah, packaged some dessert, ice cream, whatever it was. Yeah, and
Yeah,
still today, a
usually
lot of
ice
my
cream.
Yeah.
baking. Yeah, a lot of my baking. I usually bake on the weekend, and Mark and we just finish off a meal with a baked good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, I
Just
like the idea. I don't know why my mom never did it. I mean, my family, her father had a pastry factory in Holland. So it's kind of like, how come we're not having this all the time?
Yeah,
I literally didn't even think about that until now. I
hmm.
was just
yeah,
like,
all the time.
because we have the
Yeah.
same lived experience, you and me, with the meals. We know what
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
like, but
yeah.
apparently you
I
had a
needed
really nice
something
finish.
exciting at the end of a very beige
That's
meal.
fair.
I needed
That's
something
fair.
exciting.
And my mom would be like, after the dishes are done, then maybe you can have 2 scoops of ice cream. And it was
Oh,
like
Yeah,
Neapolitan ice cream, and that was it.
yeah,
oh, yeah.
For
yeah.
No,
sure.
we had being Portuguese background, food very, very important. And I
Hmm.
mean, it wasn't a meal unless there's like the table's full of
Something. Yeah,
different foods and whatnot. And then my mom and my grandmother used to bake a fair bit as well. So we always had something, but we never really had like planned dessert. Like we didn't have
yeah,
like a cake
Mhm.
on, after every meal kind of thing. But there would be like you said, Andrew, like, you bake on the weekend, like,
yeah.
There's stuff.
and there would be
Stuff
stuff,
laying
whether
around.
it be
Yeah.
cookies or tarts or, a loaf
Hmm.
of some sort or whatever. And even if we didn't have that, it would be like one of my favorite desserts, actually. Well, a couple. But we used to have like bread that we
Hmm.
used to have butter, like melt down butter in a skillet. And you add like sugar on top of it so it
Oh yeah,
caramelizes.
yeah.
And then you kind of do like a French toast kind of thing, but it's just butter,
Mm.
bread, and then this caramelized sugar.
That's so good.
Oh,
It reminds
So
me
good.
actually like the Dutch dessert. Lisa will probably know hagelslag or whatever the
hagelslag.
sprinkle the
Chocolade
sprinkles.
hagelslag.
So it's like white bread, and then you put a layer of butter, and then it's like sprinkles on bread.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
not we didn't necessarily we ate it growing up. It was more of a dessert. But yeah, I think in Holland it was always on the breakfast table.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
breakfasty for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
wow.
Bread
Very
and
good.
some sort of like sugar. Yeah.
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 Oh, white bread, a thick slab of butter, and then
Hmm.
yeah, the chocolate hail, the chocolate
Yeah. Chocolate hail. Yeah.
hail.
Chocolate hail.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
good.
Oh, that's
Oh, so
awesome.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay,
Very
so
cool.
then
So,
did Emily get upset that you were the one baking everything now?
No, no, no. Like it's funny that it had like transitioned a little bit because of the baking, but she still bakes. Yeah, she lives in London, England now. She just moved there.
oh,
But
oh,
we
cool.
used to we the three of us we did
Club?
uh, cookbook club. Yeah, exactly. And we get together maybe once every 6 weeks, 8 weeks, and the person who hosted would pick the cookbook, and would also do like sort of the main part of the meal, and then the other two people with their partners coming, we would do you do the side dishes or the desserts. So we did that for
Oh,
a long
fun.
time, and
Oh, fun.
she's since moved to England, but Cass and I are still around. So we have our group chat. We're always talking about food. So. That's the basis of our our
Food.
friendship.
That's
Food
awesome.
is life.
I
Yeah.
like the cookbook club idea. That sounds
Yeah, it's
really,
great.
really awesome. So it's like book
Yeah.
club, but cookbook club, and you
Book
get to
club.
eat a great meal.
Yeah, we talk a little bit about the cookbook, have a little bit a discussion about it, and no, it's a
I
great
love that.
way.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
Then you
cookbooks
really.
are
have a really
fantastic. I love cookbooks. So
So
yeah,
Oh, that's
so
why you and
maybe
Patty get along
I was
so
going to say,
yeah,
how do
I
you?
do not have that many cookbooks. I do not. I just but yeah, she's like has a library of cookbooks. Yeah.
Oh, it's crazy. What did she
Yeah.
what did she say she had? Like,
Oh, probably
was it over
500 or so.
400?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah,
and it's
something like
probably
that.
more than since we talked to her, I'm sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
yes, probably.
Whatever brings you joy, right? Like,
For sure.
yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You
Okay,
have
so
your
then
closet full of baking
yeah,
Yeah,
gadgets.
baking equipment. Yeah.
and Mark is
Yeah.
supportive.
Oh yeah,
Sounds
definitely.
like it.
Yeah. He's supportive. Like I think as long as there's a place for it, it's
Mhm.
fine.
Yeah, exactly. You
Yeah.
Yeah,
created that space for it.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
totally,
Okay, so
totally fair.
you tried to get on the Great Canadian Baking Show a few times.
Yeah, a few times, 6 times. Yeah. Yeah, I've been dethroned by Jen, right? But
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, it took six times to get on the show. Yeah, so and like Jen too, I know she mentioned too that didn't watch the Great British Bake Off, right? I wasn't it wasn't on my radar either. And I did have a couple of friends say, "Oh, you might like this show, Great
Mhm.
British Bake Off," and it was probably maybe at that point 6 or 7 seasons in, and just never got into it. And then I heard about that. Oh, they're doing a kind of a Canadian spin-off of it. And I watched, I was like, oh, let's see what this is all about, and tuned in for episode one, season one of the Great Canadian Baking Show. And I was like, this is a good show.
You knew right
This
away.
is a fun
You're
show.
hooked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was hooked. And it was just different from any other baking competition show that I have ever
Mhm.
watched, right? There was like sort of an atmosphere around the show that just really kind of drew me in,
Yeah.
and there was something also obtainable about it, right?
Mhm.
Like, and I was just like, oh, maybe, like, and friends of mine always were just like, maybe you should try out for this show. I think like many of us bakers have been encouraged by friends really to
Yeah.
encourage to try out for the show or audition for it. And so I did. I for season two, I submitted my application, got a call, and after that, I did not hear from them. So that was out. And then season three got a little bit further. So that's the only in-person audition I had ever done,
Mhm.
was for season three. I actually, Maggie, who was on season four,
Mhm.
we were in the same grouping
Oh, so
audition for
fun.
season three, and back then, it was at I guess it was sort of at like a baking school or something like that in Toronto. I don't think they're around anymore. And the format, you went and you had to bring a baked good of some sort that sort of represented you,
Mhm.
and they made you do like a very simple technical bake, which just like I think it was just biscuits or
It was
something like
biscuits
that.
that you ate,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, just biscuits, and then they interviewed you, and if they liked you, they pulled you into some obscure, weird room, and you did a long form interview. And so I got selected for the long form interview, so it was promising. And yeah, that was it, and got the rejection. And then for season four and five, which were the big pandemic years,
Mhm.
I didn't actually get past the Zoom call. Um, and then for season six, applied again, and one of the casting producer that was interviewing me was just like, Andrew, let's have a little bit of a chat. I said, oh, okay, like before we started filming, and they were like, well, there's something about you that it seems like you're taking this whole process too seriously. Like you're just it
Oh.
just like
Mhm.
it was just like we interview you, and it just doesn't seem like you're being yourself,
Mm.
and being authentic, and you're just kind of telling us what we want to hear, and that sort of thing. And I
Oh.
think that's really been kind of stumping you
Mhm.
up to kind of this point. And we had a bit of a conversation about it, and kind of attributed it to maybe a little bit up to my job. So I worked for the government. I was in a management position. A lot of my job was working with senior officials or politicians, and as soon as the Zoom kind of came on, personality would
You're like,
just like disappear, right? And
Evaporate.
so yeah, just evaporate like from my eyes and my ears, and I think maybe subconsciously, like jumping onto something like that, like all personality just sort of disappeared. And it
mm,
was really strange because being in person, personality is what I gave. And so after that chat, he was like, okay, ready to go. And I'm like, okay, so we're gonna do this. I have to be myself, right? Because like before I thought I was being myself, but apparently I wasn't. And so jumped on, so we talked, and like just stuck it at the back of my mind. Just have fun. Like don't worry about what your answers are. Be true to the way you're answering the questions. And yeah, I got through it and got to the bake along, and and then was rejected for that season, but like still okay, like made some progress there. That's
Mhm.
great. And then season 7 came along, applied to the bake along, and yeah, that was it.
So
Got the
good.
call that I was going to be on the show. And like, yeah, it was, I think I was the only one that actually got emotional and like it cried because I was just like just
Oh,
overwhelmed. It was just pretty great. And yeah, that was it.
Like you
yeah.
That
can't
was
I
it.
even believe that it happened after trying year after
No, I
year.
couldn't. I think like it was just becoming sort of that annual tradition, right? It's
Yeah,
just like,
yeah,
We
you
understand that
get
annual
it, right?
tradition.
You get it. Yeah, you both get it, right?
we do.
It's sort of like you submit your application, you go through the process, you get the rejection, you're disappointed about it for a little bit, and then you kind
Yeah.
of have to pick yourself back up and just kind of think about like, okay, like there must be there needs to be an advantage of this, right? Like it just meant
Mhm.
more practicing
Yeah.
or just getting better at the craft, being able to do set different goals, I think
Hmm.
too, right? Like and
Yeah.
around baking. And so it just yeah, the stars just aligned in season 7 and got on. Yeah.
That's so awesome. Yeah, no, we totally can understand. We see
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
on
keep
that part.
going.
The
Keep
So,
going,
rejection
right?
email is always such a very kind email, but it's
It
like,
mhm.
is a kind email, right?
okay.
Like it's just like, oh, it's nice, right? And then you could just kind of sit there and it's just I think once you get to the point where you know it's not because like you don't need it to validate you as a baker,
Hmm.
right? You know you're a good baker. I knew I was a good baker, right? Like
Yeah.
I knew
Yeah,
that, right? It was just a matter of like yeah, just the
timing.
casting, yeah, timing and
Hmm.
casting and
Yeah.
how they want the different folks and personalities they want on the show, and
Yeah.
that's really it. And but I got to the point where like I don't need this to validate me as a
Mhm.
baker, right? Like I know I can bake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is just like one small little milestone in the baking journey that I hope to achieve, and I did get to do it, and
You
now just on
did.
to the next one, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, fun.
That's awesome. So, and for us, rejection meant we started our podcast.
That's it,
So
right? And
that was so cool. Yeah.
and I think that's great. That's great, right? Like just to have something else to focus on,
Mhm.
something
Mm.
like another story to kind of tell within your baking journey, I think is important.
Yeah.
And you have fans, so it's great, right? Like
That's weird.
it's
Three
working
of them.
out.
Three of them.
Yeah,
And two are
no.
family. And you.
And me.
Thank you.
No, there's lots of people who listen to this podcast. Yeah, no, it's great.
That's
Yeah,
really
yeah,
Oh,
cool. I
that
mean,
is.
yeah.
it's been really an awesome experience. So I can't and when we were at the casting, the open casting this year, they were really interested in the
Yeah.
podcast, which may or may not have been a good thing, but they
Yeah, we're
really
not
were
sure
asking
yet.
us lots of questions.
Oh, yeah, no, I think, well, like, I think the podcast is great. It's not just about baking show, it's about baking in general and all the
Baking.
people,
Yeah.
yeah, baking and like you've connected with so like people across like the world, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
yeah, I
so
think it's
so
just
cool.
there's already a baking community, but I think like in some ways you're just like bridging it even more with the podcast, right? And
Yeah.
introducing more people to different like even different shows like Crime Scene Kitchen
Mhm.
Yeah.
and Australian Bake Off, right?
Yeah.
Which I also watch. It was great. So
Yeah, it
yeah,
was
no,
so
good.
good.
No,
Yeah.
it's so cool to hear that. It
Yeah.
really is. And I think for me, I can't speak for Lisa, but for me, I mean, one of the main reasons, well, I mean, I could speak for you if you
I'm
wanted to,
waiting. I'm waiting to see what you're gonna say.
but for me personally, I think one of the main reasons why getting on Great Canadian Baking Show is important to me is I see all the great, amazing relationships that develop as
Yeah.
part of being on the show, and it's gaining this whole other family of people who share the same passion you do. And I don't
Yeah.
know, I mean, you're lucky because you've got a couple of friends that are also bakers, so you could
Yeah.
totally
Yeah.
geek out that way. And Lisa and I could geek out, but we don't live in the same city. So
No.
it's really rare that we actually get together and bake together. And I think that there's something about the magic of bringing
Yeah.
people together that have that shared passion, and being able to experience that same thing with other people.
For
That's one
sure.
of the things that really attracts me to want to be on the show, like be
Yeah. It
on
connects you
to
with
bake
people
in that
who
tent.
exactly. It connects you with people who you never really thought you'd ever really would ever connect with, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And so it's like the 9 other bakers like and one of the things we always say, like we waited till season 7 to get cast on the show so I could particularly bake and become friends with those other 9
Those
bakers, right? And we're all still really close. We still chat. We're planning our baking retreat in May, right?
so
And
good.
our the season 7 especially, there were 4 Ontario bakers, right?
Mhm.
So Niv and Kimmy and Candace and I always get together when we can. Yeah, so it is really kind of, yeah, it is really special. Like I get
Yeah,
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, for
very
sure. Yeah,
special.
being able
Yeah.
Yeah.
to experience it. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we
And you
should
guys,
keep trying, is what you're saying.
yeah.
Yeah, don't. Yeah, I think like, and I have another friend or a couple of friends who've been trying to are applying on the show and have applied a number of times, and every year I think they're like, oh, I don't know about this year, but I'm like, oh, this might be the year though,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right?
I know.
So,
It just keeps you,
like, right, like it's
it keeps
yeah,
you.
it does draw. Yeah, I agree, Christina. Right, like they do, they do keep you
It's like,
keep you
oh,
on, like draw you in, but like I feel like if I did not apply, if there was one of those years I didn't apply, I feel like I almost would have regretted it, even with
Hmm.
mhm.
the rejection, because um, if anything, it's just even the process of going through it, right? Maybe those first couple of times getting the rejection right after the Zoom call wasn't really all that great, but the at the bake-alongs are actually really fun. You get a sense
Hmm.
of how the show is set up, what the briefs look like, expectations, that sort of
Hmm.
thing. So just getting insight into that is really important and really fun
Yeah.
as well. You have you done that? You've done the
I did one
bake-alongs before,
last
right?
year.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
got to the bake along stage last year, and then this year absolutely nothing. Like,
Oh.
but they saw me at the casting.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So
But
that,
after
yeah,
that,
yeah,
nothing. So I was
yeah,
kind of
yeah,
like, oh, you kind of feel as though it should be progressive. Like, okay, well,
Yeah.
yeah,
season 3, I also did the in-person audition
yeah,
and baked the biscuits and all that, which was really fun. And then didn't audition for a couple of years. And then it has felt like I've been getting a little bit
yeah.
closer every year. And then this year it was just like, I was really proud of what I brought to the casting call. And I think we were so relaxed this year. It was
Yeah.
much
We were.
Maybe
less
that's
like,
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
you know,
yeah,
but
yeah,
then nothing. And we were like, okay. I mean,
Yeah.
and it's okay. Like, I'm really happy with what I've got a new job. I'm working on some things right now anyway. So I'm not like, oh no. And like you've heard me talk about, I respect and understand the casting process so much
Mhm.
more. But
yeah,
you almost feel as though it's supposed to be linear and I'm supposed to get
yeah. I get
closer
it.
and closer
Well,
Yeah,
to it
yeah.
that
yeah. I
time.
get it. Yeah.
And I
Especially for
think that,
some, like I guess like, you've seen it like for me and like Jen who've applied
mhm.
a bunch of times, right?
Yeah.
We did eventually get there, but
Yeah.
I think it's I would definitely encourage you to keep going because yeah, you never know, right? You
Yeah.
never know when the stars are going to align, and there
True.
you have so many other baking projects going on in your life, right? And
Yes.
that's also good.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's all
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
Anytime you can actually just bake and have conversations
Bake for
and
yourself. Yeah,
yeah.
no, you
Yeah.
can bake for
Exactly.
yourself too. Yeah.
Yeah.
At
Yeah.
some points, like I almost felt like like you were baking for the show in a way, but like
Yeah.
now it's like it's nice to be able to bake for yourself too. So
Yeah.
good.
And
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
enjoy it. Yeah.
Mm.
So when you got to the tent,
Mm.
what did that feel like for you after
Mhm.
working toward it for so long?
Yeah, so I part of me I think put a lot of pressure on myself
Hmm.
with it, right? Like applying so many times was like, oh, I really need to kind of step it up here.
Bring your A game.
Yeah, bring my A game, and I did. I did start at the beginning. I was working and like because once you find out your show, you get all the briefs, right? And then you have to develop all the recipes and get them submitted. And I could not do both at the same time. I couldn't work and develop the recipes at the same time. And
Yeah.
I was just like, this is just such a big opportunity, right? And I just really, and I'm the kind of person who can really only focus on one thing at a time. So
Gotcha.
otherwise it just everything becomes a mess. And
Mhm.
so I had a whole bunch of vacations stored up and talked to my director and I was can I start a leave? And so about 2 weeks into practicing, my leave was granted, and I ended up being able to spend the better like 4 weeks or so really focusing
Nice.
on
Awesome.
that, and that really helped immensely, and I think it helped my confidence and made me feel a little bit more prepared going into baking in the tent. And yeah, and then when I got there, um, just sort of overwhelming. But we uh, usually the weekend before, so they get us all together and we do pre-interviews and that sort of thing. And that's when we get fitted for our apron. And I was, because of how they fitted us, my name obviously starts with an A, so I went first to get fitted. And I went into the room, they put on the apron, and I walked out, and all the other bakers were there, and I just broke down in tears. Like it was
Oh,
just like it just seems really
emotion.
corny, but
Oh,
it just kind of it was just all coming together.
Yeah.
And I think that's when it really hit me that this was really happening. And yeah, it was a really special moment. And then from there, it was just, yeah, down to business and doing what I could. I had a rocky start at the beginning, and technicals weren't my thing, but I think I eventually kind of got my groove, figured it all out. I think it took me a little bit longer to adapt to the situation and figure out like where to focus and
Hmm.
place my time. But yeah, I did the slow burn and was really proud of where I got.
Hmm.
And
You should be.
yeah, it was
yeah,
good. Yeah,
totally.
no, it was
You
great. Yeah.
you made it all the way to the semifinals,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
is
and
incredible.
if you had seen me like like it was like getting through the technicals and some of the things, and just trying to kind of adapt to the whole thing. I was just like, oh, I don't know about this, and yeah, just slowly kind of started coming together, right? Like it just needed to be one bake at a time, right? Just
Yeah.
one
Yeah.
bake, and like and yeah, try to kind of like be confident, try to do something that just like kind of set myself up for success, and do things I like. I didn't go really like crazy out there. Like I
Hmm.
knew what I wanted to do. I just really
Mhm.
wanted to stay true to myself, and like flavors that I really liked, and stories behind the bakes
Mhm.
Yeah.
that like got me excited about baking. Um, I think is what I wanted to stick to in the
Yeah.
tent, and that certainly helped. Yeah, so yeah, very proud I got to
Oh,
the semifinals. Yeah,
for sure.
pretty got my star baker. That's was one of the goals too, and yeah, it was great.
Bucket list
Yeah.
items, really.
Bucket
Yeah,
list item. Yeah, bucket list. Yeah,
for
check.
sure.
Yeah, it was great.
Well,
Well done.
and like you said, it was a slow burn,
Very.
and like
Yeah.
you said, you started off a little shaky, but
Very,
you could
yeah.
see
Started
that
off with just the
progression.
burn. Is that what we're
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Something
Yeah.
burnt.
Yeah, the
Um,
first like cake week it was like fine, right? Like it was whatever. And then yeah, that bread week technical just threw me for a loop, and yeah, just got really caught in the details of the recipe, and it just threw me off. I think it threw me off for a little
Mhm.
couple bakes, and but after that it started coming together. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
So, Erica, I think, had a very similar
Hmm.
journey in season 8, right? Where she started off, and for her, it was like she just let it go, right? She just
Yeah.
got to a certain point where she's like, you know what? I'm
Yeah.
overthinking this. You just have to let it go and let the universe or whatever take over and just go with it.
Yeah.
Was that similar for you as well? Or was there
Yeah.
like a catalyst of
Yeah,
what made a
very
difference?
similar. I think it was really episode 4. I had a couple really good moments, but I also think I really needed to get a whatever, however you define perfect, like a perfect
Okay.
bake under my belt. And episode 4 I did quite well, but I think it was actually the kitsch cake. So
Yeah.
that I think it finally, and I got emotional through that whole process, because it was like I finally put something in front of the judges that it just flavors were good, technically it was good, it looked
It all.
good,
Yeah.
and it hit all the boxes, and I think that was sort of the point where I was like, oh, okay, late, but I got to the point where I was just like, okay, I got over the hill. I put something in front of the judges that like checks all the boxes, and then like in episode 6, it was just like, okay, like yeah, just have fun with this, right, and
Yeah.
go with it. But yeah, I think episode 4 there was a little bit of that. I was just like, let's just kind of like start having fun with this thing. But I also knew that I think I needed to get a bake in there that just Bruno and Kyla were just like, okay, good, yeah, and
Yeah.
You can do
And
this.
it gave you that boost
yeah,
of confidence, and you're like, okay, I can do this. And
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
exactly, yeah,
Is that,
yeah,
do you find, because you can see that sometimes where it either defines you as a baker in a sense, not the whole experience doesn't define whether you're a good baker or not, but I'm thinking the experience that you have while you're in the tent, from like going from that stress and trying
yeah,
to do your best and being so hard on yourself and being your biggest critic, to just finding that joy and having fun and
yeah.
letting it go and trusting your
I think there was
instincts.
definitely a narrative, right? Like, and I think you could see, and I think that like it's really a fun narrative to have,
Yeah.
to be
Totally.
honest,
Yes.
right? Like
Yeah.
to
Pretty
have
good
that
arc.
narrative where, yeah, it's a pretty good arc, right? Like it's just yeah, everybody questions what you're doing at the beginning, but then like it's just like, okay, maybe this person has something, and then right, and like Erica had that, like Steven
Yep.
in season 5, I think had that as well. Like, and we, I think, we, joked a little bit. It was because I've met Steven, and we were just like at the beginning, it was just like, oh, I don't know about this guy, and then halfway through, it's just like, oh, okay, maybe he has something. And then you got the Star Baker. It was like, yay, this guy, great. And then then it goes like went off from there. But I do. It was I think it's great storytelling on the show, right? Like
Mhm.
it was a
Mhm.
fun story to have, and I think the editors, that they make everybody look good, but it
Yeah.
was just really fun because everybody could see it too, as well. Like people in my personal life were just like, oh, it's just been really fun to see you on the show, because of that progression,
Yeah.
and really just seeing how much more comfortable I got as the episodes kind of were aired. So yeah, yeah, super special
So
to
fun.
like have that story and that arc. Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
proud of
Well
it. Yeah.
done.
Oh,
A-
yeah.
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 And you
And
recently revisited your kitsch cake and did
Yeah.
it again.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
tell
So
me, you can tell us the story, but I have a question I want to ask after you tell the story. So
sure. Yeah. Yeah.
go
Yeah,
ahead.
so I will say the root beer flavor I think is
mhm.
probably like I had a lot of people kind of DM me about the root beer cake and the flavor, and I've made it for a few people, and then this particular, it was actually an order. Somebody had reached out to me and like, oh, like we're really intrigued by your root beer cake. Do you mind making it for me, for the family was having a couple birthdays, and I said, yeah, sure. Yeah. And I was like, is there anything different you want about it? Like, do you like, I know you want the flavor. I'm like, you even want the cherry filling? Like you want it decorated the same color and everything? And like, yeah, just do the same. Like, well, obviously it wasn't two tiered because on the show it was two
Yeah.
tiered, but yeah, they wanted everything to be the same. And so yeah, I got to revisit. I love piping too. Piping buttercream is one of my favorite
Mm.
things to do. I
Very
know
zen.
Lisa. Yeah, Lisa, you don't like that style of cake, right? Lisa, do you like
No,
that? No,
but
the
I
kitchen cake.
like
Yeah,
your colors. I love the
yeah.
colors of yours.
I love it. I think it's just such a all you have to do is make another half batch of buttercream, and you have your decoration, right?
Yeah,
So
it's true.
but
It's true.
like piping can be complicated
Yeah.
and difficult, but
Hmm.
like I love it. Like it's just like once that cake is like just the crumb coat is on, base layer is on, my
You're like,
Got a
colors are all
blank
mixed. Yeah, and
canvas.
I'm just
Yep.
here we
like,
go.
there we go, let's go.
Yeah.
Nice.
So yeah, I love it. Yeah.
So do you have a plan of what, obviously you probably have maybe a vision, or do you just freehand it and go, I'm just going to go with it and then just keep
Yeah.
adding, or yeah, what's your
No,
process when you do one of those?
yeah, I usually have a plan. Yeah, I like the I do when doing like a Lambeth or like a kitsch cake like that. I do like the layering of piping, right?
Mhm.
Like so
Yeah.
it's having so I will go through my piping tip and like kind of piping tip collection and have a little bit of an idea. To be honest, I think on the show I was did a bit of practicing of the piping, but I think what ended up on the cake was a little bit of a freestyle. I had some idea,
Yeah.
um, but yeah, no, I usually have a little bit of a plan. Yeah, usually usually know what tips, the piping tips I want to use. I know what kind of like generally what kind of layer I want to do. I tend to stay away from like the chords. Like I like the piped kind of like
Yeah.
Mhm.
Swag.
fancy things,
Yeah.
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 But I tend to stay away from chords because they can get a little bit tricky. But
It's so easy to
uh,
mess that up if you're
they
trying to
are,
make a nice
yeah, a
straight
nice
loop.
chord, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so I tend to generally stay away from that. But
Mhm.
yeah, no, I at least have the piping tips picked out. I know what colors I'm going to go with. I know I do know what color is going with what piping tip. So
Oh, yeah.
generally do have a little bit of a plan. Yeah,
So
yeah.
my question for this revisiting of the kitsch cake, did you have a little bit of a fight against yourself in, okay, I'm gonna do this better than I did on the show, or I'm gonna make it exactly like it was on the show, or like did you have to
Oh,
go
it
back
was
and
going to
look
be
at
better.
pictures? Yeah.
I went back and I did do more piping
Hmm.
on this version of it than I did on the
Mm.
show, and that's probably
Yeah.
just based of time. I also have changed that recipe a little bit too,
Okay.
and the cake recipe a little
Yeah.
bit, which based on just like my own experience and my preferences of what I like in a cake recipe.
Okay.
So I had made some changes there too.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, when the client said replica, I was like, okay, well, flavors will be the same,
Hmm.
color scheme will be the same, but because I just have more time to pay attention to the details,
Yeah.
Mhm.
I did a little bit more flair on this one than I did
You
on
did a
the
really
Nice. It
show.
was
beautiful job.
beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
And the
thank you.
I
colors.
Yeah.
think I'm starting to like them more. I mean, I
Hmm.
think maybe I'm just kind of becoming a little bit immune to
You're
them.
really not alone. I think, to be honest, on the show when we were doing the kitsch cake, I was the only one that was really excited, so excited
Oh,
about doing it. I think like everybody else was just like, ugh, right? Like it was just not their style
Yeah.
of cake. And I'm sitting
Yeah.
here like, this is the bake I'm most excited about because I
Yeah.
can once those things are stacked, I can just like pipe and pipe till my heart's content, right? Until at
Yeah.
least
yeah.
the time runs out.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I love that style of cake. Yeah, anything. It's just like I said, you do a half batch of buttercream and color it, and you have it's you don't it's like just not fussy in terms of
Yeah.
additional a whole bunch of additional ingredients. I do like the palette knife technique too,
Mhm. Yeah, that's
because
so
again,
pretty.
right, like it's just yeah, it's really pretty
That's
and
really cool.
it's just what another third half batch of buttercream and your decoration is you're
Yeah,
ready too. Yeah.
I hadn't thought about it like that before because right now I'm working on a tea party themed birthday cake. And of course you make a teacup and you make some lace and you make
Yeah.
this and you have it all done before. And then once you've gotten everything stacked and um covered in buttercream, then oh yay, I just put these things on. But I'm like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, if it's just buttercream, then it just makes it so much easier. Like you
Yeah.
don't
There's
have to
it's
practice
effective,
get all those
right? It's
things done.
effective. And I love
Yeah.
doing the other decoration stuff
Yeah.
too, right? Like when you have like the time to really dedicate to it.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's not but like like sometimes it's yeah, just from maybe some a time constraint or
Hmm.
additional ingredients that you need to get.
Yeah.
It's a very effective way
Hmm.
to decorate a cake. A lot of
Yeah,
impact with
definitely.
just a little bit more buttercream, right?
The
So
Yeah.
coloring the different shades is the only kind of time
yeah,
consuming
I would
aspect.
say yeah, that's probably one of my least favorite things about baking is
Hmm.
coloring icing. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
coloring buttercream, coloring royal icing.
Royal
It's
icing is
Oh,
just
for
super pretty.
cookies.
Yeah.
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 Did you
Le-
see the cookies I made for last season for the in the shape of Holland? I did the
I
cookie monster
did. Yeah,
and I was
yeah,
like once I had them all done, but I was like, gosh, how does anybody on the show have time to color all their different royal icings for this challenge? Like,
Yeah.
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 Yeah, well, because we did the very like intricate lace cookies as one of our signature challenge
Yes.
on
That's
ours,
right.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so yeah, so it was and we had to do, I think it was like two or three different techniques. And the one thing I was like dreading about, I was like, oh, I have to color royal, I have to color royal icing. And like the other thing, like when you're piping royal icing, right? It's like, oh, the different consistencies,
Hmm.
border consistencies, and
Mhm.
like flooding
Hmm.
consistencies, and I was just like, how are we going to get this done
I
in
know.
this amount of time? Like just coloring icings, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah,
And
it's
somehow everybody always does.
Yeah. Marcus was particularly of season 8. Marcus is because he had that board game and each individual piece was
he had
different.
like 15 different colors.
Different.
Like I don't at least for our like lace cookies, I think I we were only required to have three colors, right? So it
Mhm.
wasn't so bad,
That's a
but
lot easier. Yeah.
yeah, oh,
Yeah.
Still, it
yeah.
still
Yeah.
sucks.
I used to every Christmas. I don't do a lot of piped cookie royal icing cookies. I usually do
Mhm.
them at the holidays is
Hmm.
when I normally do them.
Yeah.
And for a number of years, I would cut out like, oh, stockings and Christmas trees and whatever, and then I would make a like spend basically an afternoon coloring
Hmm.
royal icing, and then I would sit down for an afternoon and pipe, which is the
Yeah.
best part.
Yes.
And then, but over the last couple of years, when I get to the holidays, and I'm just like, oh, the thought of coloring icing scares me away. And then I change it. I'm like, what can I do this year that just
Hmm.
requires me to do like two or three colors, right?
Yeah.
To so I can get to the piping. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yes.
Or you could just dip and marble. It's
It
such a
really
yeah,
does.
beautiful little
Yeah.
yeah.
effect.
It's a good
And
effect too. Again, right? Like there's something
yeah.
like the buttercream thing. It's just like you color it, you dip it, and it still has a really big impact in terms of like
Hmm.
aesthetic, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I like that. Big, I like a lot of bang for your buck for for
Exactly.
right.
Exactly. Because I
And
think for
everybody's
me,
always impressed. It's like, oh my gosh,
right?
Yeah.
that's
How did you
They
do
yeah,
that?
are. They are really impressive.
yeah, yeah,
Marbling for some reason impresses a lot
yeah.
of people.
People,
I'm
And
yeah,
impressed.
and
yeah.
Lisa can attest, I am like truly pathetic at actually piping detailed cookies. I probably can do it. I just don't have the patience for it. I think for
When you're
me,
forced to do
when
when you're forced to do, you'll
you'll probably love
you'll
it.
figure it
Yeah.
out.
You'll
Yeah,
find a way
yeah,
to love it,
yeah. You'll
probably,
find a
right?
way to love it. Yeah,
But yeah, for me, it's like, okay, what can I do that won't be, as crazy or whatever, or time consuming or, that kind of stuff. So yeah, no, I like that. Or where you can
yeah.
just like, my fancy little wreath cookies that I do that also gets maximum impact. And
Fact,
it's
yeah,
super easy because you just like
yeah.
Dot,
got
dot, dot,
some
dot.
dot and then run a
Scribe.
toothpick around or a scribe around and you're
There's
done.
also, and I think as like someone like watching, because if you do it's also really approachable, right? Like it's
For wet
like
on
it has
wet.
big
Yeah.
impact, right? But like I think a lot of people who are maybe a little bit afraid of baking and the decorating part of it, right? Like a
Yeah,
lot of these techniques are just really approachable. Maybe it just takes a
Yeah.
little bit of practice, but they're approachable techniques to decorating, right?
for
So
sure.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah, and I think that was
absolutely.
helpful also for you talking about the how you do the swags on your kitsch slash Lambeth cakes as like little ruffly swags rather
yeah,
than trying to drag a big swoop that can be messed up so
yeah,
easily and not match all the other ones.
Yeah,
And even that is for me, I'm like, okay, I'm keeping that in mind. Like I can do that little ruffly style instead,
exactly.
yeah,
And
and
like
other
it
people
doesn't
can
have
do
to be
that too.
perfect. It doesn't have to be perfect. And there's it just like there's something about like just the character of that cake. The cake is supposed to be like really old school and like
mhm,
Mhm.
whatever, right? And like even if you like your wrist slips or hand slips or something like happens in the ruffle, like it just like all goes to kind of the character of the cake,
Yeah.
especially. And if you're doing layers of the ruffling too,
Mhm.
it's also easy to hide stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Fair, fair,
See,
fair.
he's giving us all the baking scraps already.
Yeah.
Exactly. No, that's awesome.
It's very
Well,
specific, yeah, but
well,
yeah,
something I'd
yeah,
like to actually get more into is the flavor because you did the root beer cake,
yeah.
and so what technique did you use for your kitsch cake to get that
The
that
root
true
beer.
root beer flavor?
Yeah, so there's root beer in the cake, so in the sponge itself, so that's really the liquid, but it's there's extract. So I tested a
Okay.
few different types of extracts. Um, also made my own flavoring, root beer flavoring before,
Oh,
and tried testing that. And my own didn't really go very far, and it was really you probably know the brand Loran.
Hmm. Hmm.
Laurent, yeah, she has a root beer flavor, and that is what I used in both the cake and the frosting, and it goes a
Okay.
really long way. Um, I would say, like out of all of the extracts, even making my own, that was the most effective at bringing out the
Okay.
root beer
Yeah.
flavor. Now you have to be careful with it, right? Like it took experimentation on amounts
Yeah, I
yeah.
can
because
imagine.
like root beer, like too much of it can get really, it almost gets like minty, like
Mm.
Hmm.
toothpastey if you
That's
use
what
too
my
much.
mom calls
So
it, toothpaste water.
yeah, yeah. And so on the show, like Bruno did not like root beer.
Hmm.
Does not like it. And so, and of course, when you're being interviewed by two pastry chefs and they're saying, "Oh, root beer, that's not gonna like." It's
Yeah.
just it's that they're, "Oh, great. Well, I'm giving you a whole cake that's made of
Yeah.
root beer."
Enjoy.
And yeah, and yeah, I convinced him that root beer is a legit a legit tasty flavor. Um,
Absolutely.
but
That's so
yeah,
cool.
Yeah.
that's yeah. So it's so the majority of the liquid in the cake is actual root beer,
Okay.
and then I also enhanced it with the Loran the root beer flavor.
Extract.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay. And
yeah.
did the root beer that you used in the cake, did you reduce it at all, or did you just throw
No.
a can of root beer in there
It was just
as
basic
liquid?
almost a can of root beer. Yeah,
Yeah.
and um yeah, and just room temperature, obviously. But yeah, no,
Does
that
the
was it.
carbonation help with the leavening?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
does. Yeah,
Okay.
but
Nice.
yeah. That cake I also do as reverse creaming, the reverse
Mhm.
creaming method.
Mm.
Actually,
I
like to
love
be
that
honest,
method,
Me
actually.
yeah, to be
too.
honest, like any if it's not a chocolate cake, I'm doing reverse creaming.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's which helps with the texture along with
Hmm.
the yeah. So yeah,
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
I'm really liking that method a lot now
Yeah.
too.
Same, same.
Yeah.
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 I only
It's just
started
really
working with reversed creaming method probably about a year ago or so, and I'm
mhm.
like totally hooked because it's just so nice, and the
Yeah,
crumb is just so beautiful,
yeah.
and yeah, it's so nice. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
it's great. It's also it makes it a little bit harder to overmix it too, right?
Mhm.
And like
Yeah.
yeah, right, because you're kind of going in there and coating all your butter, right? I also use oil, so I like
Mhm.
a combination of butter and oil in my cakes. And so yeah, just so you don't necessarily have to worry about overmixing it too
Yeah.
Yeah.
much
And
either. Yeah. So
especially if you're going to like color part of the batter, like if you're doing
yeah,
like some sort of marbled cake effect, or you're doing the multi, different
yeah,
colored layers or whatever, then yeah,
yeah, it's good.
it makes it really easy to work with that batter for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, no, it's yeah, I actually stumbled upon it for the show when I was doing
Mm.
the cakes and stuff like that. I was like, oh, reverse creaming and kind
Hmm.
of did. I was like, oh, I like this technique has something. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
good. Yeah,
No.
it's a good technique. Yeah.
Yeah.
How is it that now I'm like, I want to go back in the kitchen and bake more? I'm literally in the middle of two cakes and I have two in the freezer that need to be
Oh
worked
my
on. And
God.
I'm like, I want to bake something else now with the reverse creaming method.
Yeah, I just
The
so
compulsion.
on that like because you bake you sell your cakes, Lisa?
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
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 So and I've started doing that too. And I think you mentioned that on the podcast before, right? There
Yeah.
is an anxiety about doing that, right?
Oh
Like
yeah.
especially if you're not at the function, right?
Hmm.
Like
Oh
Mhm.
my
and so
gosh.
I
So much
that is
so.
yeah, so that's where I am at right now. I'm like I love the process and baking for whoever I'm baking for, but right now I'm at the point where I'm like just staring at my phone, just waiting for them, okay.
Waiting,
Like
waiting.
waiting for them,
Oh,
like,
I
is it
feel you
okay?
so
Yeah,
much,
right.
Andrew.
Because like when you bake it and you go to a function and like, okay, you're tasting it, and obviously at bakers, you're always like, there's
It's not good enough.
Yeah.
something wrong with it. But now it's like when I can't be there to
Hmm.
watch people or
Hmm.
taste it myself. Now I'm just like waiting for um
I
uh
know.
the feedback,
The
right?
Yeah.
feedback. I know.
Yeah.
I'm like, where are the pictures of the inside? Come on, send me
Yeah, I
pictures. Tell me.
know. Yeah.
I need to see that it was all
Yeah.
even,
All good.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah.
did the fillings stay in place and blah, blah, all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. And
Yeah.
yeah, but I mean, it's six of one, half a dozen of the other. Because if you are at the function, like you said,
Yeah.
somebody's like, "This is
Yep.
so good," and you taste it, you're like, "That is too dry."
Yeah.
Not good. You're like,
Yeah.
it's not as good as it's supposed to be.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think that's it, right? Like it's like we're all our own, like you mentioned earlier, our own worst
Absolutely.
worst critic, right? And
Yeah,
so
for
it's
sure.
just yeah, just kind of getting out of that
Yeah,
headspace. But
it's hard. It's
Yeah,
very hard.
it is.
very
Yeah.
hard.
Right. The
Hmm.
worst part.
Well,
Yeah.
I hope you,
Besides,
Do you sell your baked goods too,
um,
Christina?
so I mainly bake for family and friends,
Yeah.
and I do take the odd commission, but I use it as a donation platform for
Okay.
charities.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
then
So I
sometimes, oh, go ahead.
no, no, no. Yeah, I do. I've done the same thing. Do donations, but like mainly my charity stuff. I do like virtual bake-alongs through the work. So I
Oh, that's a
do.
oh,
good
that's
idea.
fun.
Yeah, yeah.
Nice.
So I do. Usually twice a year. Uh, my work. I guess I work for the government, but they do like a food bank, like Federated Health thing, and they usually ask me to do like a virtual bake along. And so I like
Nice.
design the recipe, give the equipment out, and then people donate whatever they can, and then they sit with me on Zoom or Teams for 2 hours and bake. And
Hey.
it is a really great way to like contribute like the charity aspect of it. So
Mhm.
yeah, I like
Yeah,
that aspect of it too.
that's
Yeah.
Yeah.
awesome.
No,
Yeah.
Ooh,
it
I
is
wonder if we should pick your brain on how to do that because that'd be kind
Oh
of
yeah, for
yeah.
sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Totally can help you. Like I was doing so they started actually at the start of the pandemic. So
mm,
we like in our office we used to at the holidays we do like a team building like thing where we all get together. And then when the pandemic hit, obviously we weren't doing that, and we were trying to figure out like what to do. And my director was like, Andrew, have you ever thought about doing a bake along for the team? I was like, oh, I don't know. So let me try it out. So yeah, so we did like eggnog cranberry scones. That was like the first
Ooh.
virtual bake I ever did. And so I developed the recipe and the ingredients and the equipment that they needed. So I sent out the ingredient list and the equipment list. And then yeah, we just hopped online on like a Teams chat like this, and I just walked everybody through
Oh,
the
how
that is
many
bake.
so
people
fun.
at a time?
So I've done different sizes.
Hmm.
So usually probably about 20 25.
Wow.
Upwards I have done 50 to 60.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah,
But that's
yeah.
great because you don't have
That
to come up with much overhead,
no,
right?
no, but like it's great. No, no, not at all, right?
You
Like
just
it's
what
like
you already have. Yeah.
everybody's responsible for their own ingredients and getting their own ingredients. Now, like sometimes you get questions about like maybe substituting for a different type of like a nut milk or
Hmm.
Yeah.
and that sort of thing, which is fine. I don't
Hmm.
have a ton of experience in that, but it can help where I can. But yeah, no, it's great. The only thing that's a little bit restricting is the equipment, right? So you
Hmm.
really need to think of a bake where it's very approachable
Hmm.
and minimizes maybe the equipment that folks will need. So
Yeah. So they don't
that
have to
make
make a
yeah.
pavlova by hand.
By
Yes.
hand, yeah, exactly. It's exactly it, right?
Yeah.
And one year I did get a little bit complicated with the bake, but just because I was just like, let's just do something really fun and
Mhm.
whatever, and it still got a pretty good turnout. Because you get bakers who bake on a regular basis, and then some who are just like, oh, let's see how this goes and
Yeah.
Yeah.
see how
Yeah.
fun it
They
is.
just
But yeah, it's just fun. Like most people will go on camera and they're like, Andrew, does this look right? And like holding up their bowl to the screen and like
like,
I'm like, I can't see that. But I'm sure it looks great. And like some
That's
people
so much
like
fun.
yeah, and some people like yelling, she's like, Andrew, slow down. Right? Like and so the other thing too is if it takes you an hour to do, it's probably going to take an hour and a half, an hour, 45 minutes to kind of walk
Mm.
through the whole thing. So it's all about timing as well. But it is a lot of fun. Like
yeah.
The true characters come out, and like especially the people who will interact with you. There are a few people who just don't want to be on camera. They're happy to walk along and
Mhm.
bake in their
Mhm.
kitchens and do
Yeah,
their thing.
Yeah.
But a bunch of people will come on camera and just like have fun with you and
nice.
banter with you and just like look at this and yeah, so it's fun. Yeah, I recommend it. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And
Oh.
all for a good cause to
Mhm.
boot.
Yeah,
So I think that's
yeah,
even
Yeah.
yeah. It's
the
even
most
good.
special
Yeah,
part of it too.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I really like that. That's
Oh,
great.
very cool.
Mhm.
So, how has being on the baking show, how has
Yeah.
being on the baking
The show.
show changed your life?
How has it changed my life? I don't, I don't think it's changed my life that much,
Okay, never mind.
but
Next
yeah, yeah,
question.
yeah, yeah. Let's move on. No, I think so. Well, actually, no, actually, probably has actually had a big impact. So, now that I'm
Not at
thinking
all.
about
Oh,
it,
wait.
no,
Hang on a
yeah.
second.
So,
I forgot
yeah,
about that
I
part.
have, yeah. So, before when I started on the show, actually, I changed jobs for one thing. So the one thing that actually came out of the show is like I was a manager before and had a pretty big team of folks and a position that yeah kind of like burnt myself out a little bit and after being out so I decided when I got on the show I did the show but then I also took the rest of the summer off
Oh,
because
good.
I was already burnt out going into the show
Hmm.
and the show is a lot mentally and physically. And so I
Mhm.
was just like, maybe I should take some time off after the show. So I took 2 months off afterwards just
Nice.
to recalibrate.
Yeah.
Smart.
And a very supportive husband that allowed me to do that, and was lucky enough to be able to do that. So it was great. But during about a month into it, and I was about a month from returning to the office and trying to like kind of wrap my head around going back, and I was like, Mark, I don't think I can go back to that job. So I just don't think I can do it. I think it just like just realized in some ways like how much it work like it took a toll on me, but
Mhm.
also how much it interrupted what I was doing outside of work too and impacted myself
Right.
outside of work, right?
Yeah.
And I being in the tent and almost baking full time, I just realized even though it was stressful, I
Hmm.
loved it. I loved baking. And so I had a chat with my director and I was like, I think I need to move to another position that just is just more suitable to sort of a better work-life balance.
Mm.
And we found a position. I have a smaller team now of I went from 30 to 7 staff, which is
Wow.
nice, and one that just has a little bit more work-life balance and allows me to uh not allows me to bake on weekends rather than work on weekends. So
Mm.
Yeah.
that like strangely enough, like I think some people kind of go on the show they have a great time and but for me I honestly I think it did have an impact on what I think about as work-life balance and
Mhm.
where I want to focus my time and energy. And yeah, so I made that change. So that so when you're like, oh, it didn't really change my life. Yeah, it did. Yeah, it did kind of
In a good
change
way.
what in a good way. Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, and so and it gave me the time to be able to take orders here and there. So I take an
Mhm.
order, like I take commit like a not all the time,
Mhm.
but if it fits into the schedule and
Yeah.
it I feel like it fits my skill set because
Yeah.
I'll take an order, which gives me time to do that. And I'm working a little bit on a website right now,
Nice.
like
Oh.
for like just kind of recipes. Just I felt like after the show, I needed another goal,
Mhm.
Yeah.
like in baking as well. And so a friend of mine works on in social media and is helping me build a little bit of a website that like hopefully I'll launch and just post recipes and if people decide to get orders or they can get orders or make orders or request an order from that website and just like another just little project for myself. And I can't guarantee the recipe will go up every week, but when I have
Yeah.
time, I'll and something like sparks my interest and I'm really
Yes.
proud of it. Like I'll pop it up there and
Yeah.
people can see it. So so it's also, I suppose, really sparked my interest in recipe development
Mhm.
and that sort
Yeah,
of
awesome.
aspect of it too. Yeah. So
So
That's
yeah.
cool.
great.
Well, we
Yeah,
look
Yeah.
forward to seeing, yeah,
Yes.
your
Yeah, it's
new
almost
website
there.
and
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, it's been
Nice.
a long time coming, but it's just needed to be right, just at the right timing. Just wanted to make sure, thinking about what the first recipe was going to be, kind of that sort of thing, right?
Yeah.
And um, yeah, yeah, no, I'm excited.
And
Yeah.
do you have a name for your website?
Oh, it's just going to be my Instagram handle. So it's
Okay.
just yeah, it's just
Andrew
Andrew
Alamode.
Alamode. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Perfect.
my before I got on the show, my Instagram was actually hacked, and I had to start a new Instagram, and I was trying to think of like a name for it, and it was just like we were kind of going through the names, my partner and I. I was just like Andrew, and I was like, oh, like Andrew Alamode, right? Like it's just like Andrew, and then Alamode related to bacon. It's just Andrew and a little bit something extra, right? Like
Yeah.
it's sort of
Yes.
like the intent behind it.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I'm following through with that sort of theme. Yeah.
I always
Nice.
have really liked your Instagram
Oh,
Mhm.
thanks.
handle.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's yeah. It's like kind of yeah, cutesy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I got worried that I was like, does everybody think I'm going to be serving ice cream with everything? But I think that but the intent about it is like to me, it's like a piece of pie with ice cream, right? It's
Yeah.
just like
Yes.
something a little bit
Yes.
extra.
Yeah.
So I thought it yeah, a little bit fun play
I love
on
it.
words.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love
No,
it.
Yeah.
I think it's perfect.
It is.
Thanks. Yeah.
Like your piping.
Yeah, I do pride myself in my piping, but there are people who like, yeah, there are. I follow some people on some of the
Oh,
piping. Yeah, just like, just
well,
insane.
and
Yeah.
and you could
I,
go easily down a rabbit hole when you're
oh
checking out
yeah,
people's like how incredible there's so many bakers out there that do incredible work. And I know my jaw drops like on the daily, right? When I
yeah,
see some of this beautiful things that people are creating and
Mhm.
yeah. Use it as
yeah,
inspiration, right? Like I just like if
absolutely.
they use it
Absolutely.
inspiration, credit them, right? Like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
yeah, it's pretty cool what
Yeah.
some people can
It's
yeah
so
do out
true.
there,
And
right?
Yeah.
how talented and skilled and just
Mhm.
incredible people are. And
Yeah.
they're so willing to share too. And
Mhm.
Yeah.
that's the other really beautiful thing about one of the
Yeah.
beautiful things about social media and Instagram and
In our
certainly the
baking
baking
family,
community. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
agreed.
absolutely.
Yeah,
it's pretty
yeah, yeah,
wonderful.
for sure.
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm.
Well, what do you guys think? Is it time to play a little
A little
game?
The
game.
segment,
This
the
or
famous
that?
baking scraps segment.
Yes, this or that.
So famous.
Are you ready, Andrew?
Yes, I'm
Have you
ready. I'm
been
gonna
looking
laugh.
forward to this? Were you like, oh, I
Hmm.
wonder what my this or
I
that
play
question
along when you
is?
do it. Like
Yeah.
I sit there on my walk, I walk to work, and people, you're just like, oh, tea and coffee. I'm like, well, this is what this is what
Okay,
I
well,
would say.
here we
Perfect.
go.
Well, let's start there.
Yeah.
Coffee or tea, Andrew?
Coffee. Yeah, coffee, definitely. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. And I'm a very, I don't know, recent coffee drinker, but I probably only took up drinking coffee in probably the last 7 or 8 years.
Mm,
And I was never really a hot beverages kind of person. And
Okay.
so, yeah, so coffee t for taste. Tea's never really been my jam. Yeah. Yeah,
So
unfortunately.
coffee only in the last 7 or 8 years. What did you do through university?
Yeah, I didn't drink coffee. Yeah, no, yeah, just
that's when I started.
Yeah, that's what I
yeah.
started too. I think that's where a lot of
No.
people start.
You know when I started drinking coffee? When I got into management at work. That's when I
Oh,
started
That makes
drinking
a lot of
coffee.
that
sense.
makes sense too.
Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, in grad school it was just yeah, never thought never drank coffee. And yeah, through university and grad school and then yeah, a couple jobs and then when I got into management, yeah, that's when I
That's when
started
you
drinking
needed the
coffee.
caffeine
Yeah.
hit. So how
Yeah.
about energy drinks or anything? Is
Or
that what,
alcohol.
how did you get
Nope.
through? How did you get through uni? Just like water?
He was like he was
Yeah, water
actually just
basically. Yeah, like
relying
I
on his
don't.
own
Yeah,
body
yeah.
and
Like even though I made a
feeling.
root beer cake, I don't really drink pop either. Like I'm not
Mhm.
a pop drinker. Um, I don't drink milk. Like I like to have milk and cereal or whatever. But yeah, no, don't drink a lot of juice. Yeah, I really like
Water.
when I grew up, right? Like it was just like really like even my liquid consumption was pretty
Pretty bland.
basic and not exciting. Yeah, 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 yeah. No,
Water
drink
is
a glass
important.
of water.
Yeah.
I don't drink a
Good.
lot. Yeah, I don't. Even when I was in university and grad school. yeah, maybe one or two drinks if going out, but yeah, not a big drinker either.
I mean that's really
Mm.
good. That's
Yeah.
good for you.
Yeah.
Good for
Hmm.
you. All
Yeah.
right. Next question. Sweet or savory bakes?
Oh, yeah. This is one where like whenever you do, I'm like, oh, which one would I pick? I think I'm gonna go with sweet. I do have a bit of a sweet tooth, and like before, it's just I think every meal needs to be it needs to end with a dessert.
Mhm.
Needs to end with a dessert. So definitely sweet
So
for
what are you
sure.
picking on so if you go out for a meal, and you're
Mm.
cruising through the dessert list, what is the one thing you always pick if it's on there?
Oh, that's a good question.
She's full of them.
I will say
I'm full of something,
I will likely go for the most decadent dessert.
which
Yeah.
to you means what? Is that
Like
like chocolate
probably
on chocolate on
yeah,
chocolate?
chocolate on chocolate
Truffle,
on
truffle
chocolate. Yeah,
stuff and yeah.
truffle, like any like if chocolate is on the if it anything described as dense and decadent, I'm
Okay.
probably going to go
Go for
for
that.
those. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, for sure.
All
Yeah, I
right.
just yeah,
Yeah.
if I'm eating dessert, the more decadent it is, the better.
Go
Yeah,
big or go home, huh?
Make it a
yeah,
Yeah.
celebration.
Yeah.
yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah.
Okay, well, this is one we've never asked before. So this is a
Oh,
new one
okay.
for you alone, Andrew.
You ready?
Dodging flour or dodging dodgeballs?
Okay. That's so funny. Probably dodging flour. I think like yeah, yeah. It's even I'm not an apron person. Like the first time I wore it, like I wore an apron was basically to be in the tent. Otherwise, in the kitchen, I'm not wearing an apron, so
Yeah.
I'm usually covered in some sort of baking ingredient. But
So you're
but
not
the
good at dodging flowers.
Oh, yeah. Well, no, I'm not. No. Yeah, usually. And like even with the apron, because I was not used to wearing an apron, like most people would just like wipe them. My apron was always clean. My shorts were always dirty because I would,
You just do the,
yeah. So like
yeah.
I would just almost go up the sides of my shorts. And so everyone like, oh, your apron's so clean. And then if you looked on the side of my shorts, like I'd have icing or like something on the sides of my shorts because I just could not get used to like going like rubbing my shirt
Yeah.
like I
Which was the
and I don't
problem.
know why, yeah, and I don't know why like I like subconsciously decided to wipe it on my pants, but
So how
yeah,
did you get through that? Because one of the things we've learned is that you wear the same clothing for the two
yeah,
days of the bakes. So did you have an
I
extra?
have multiples of the same, yeah, like so yeah,
There you
so
go. Okay. Smart.
when I like something I tend to buy it in multiples.
You
So
already had multiples. You didn't
yeah,
plan on buying multiples.
Wow.
That's
no,
pretty
yeah,
good.
So
so I
you were
have
meant to be on there.
Hmm.
yeah, so I have well the shirt like my shirts like I don't have actually t-shirts I still have multiples of the same t-shirt, but they wanted us to be a little bit more colorful, right? To be, which is also not my personality. I tend to go blacks and navy blues and things, so I had
Yeah.
to venture out of my comfort zone there. But like with shorts, like I couldn't really see them behind the apron anyway, so I have like 3 4 pairs of the same navy blue shorts. So it was like an easy swap out. Yeah.
That
That's
Yeah.
worked out well.
great. That's very
Hmm.
good.
Hmm.
Okay.
Hmm.
Buttercream or ganache
Oh,
for a frosting?
for a frosting. Um, hmm.
We've stumped them.
Nice.
Yeah, you stumped me. I think for flavored ganache,
Mhm.
but for decorating buttercream, obviously.
Right.
Yeah. But
And what's your go-to?
oh, Swiss meringue
Yeah.
buttercream. Yeah, it's just like it's it's generally easy to make. It's very forgiving, right? It's a
Mhm.
really forgiving buttercream, and you can fix it easily, right? I don't do the like put a tablespoon of butter in at a time.
No.
Throw
I
the whole thing in.
I throw the whole thing in, right? And just
Yep.
like pray to the baking gods that it comes together.
Just got to be
And
a good paddle.
yeah, that's it. Like
Mhm.
and it comes together just fine, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, super forgiving, easy, pipes really nicely. Not too sweet,
Mhm.
right? Like
Mm,
you can play with the ratios really easily,
Yeah.
the butter to sugar to egg white ratio,
hmm
nicely, without it to your preferred taste, right? And texture. So yeah, yeah, definitely Swiss.
My husband is
Mhm.
always like, it tastes too buttery. And I'm like,
My husband says the same thing.
buttercream. Really?
Exact same thing. He's sitting right over there. He's probably like, your buttercream's too buttery. And like, it's just like, this is too buttery. And I'm just like, who says that?
No,
Like, this is
Is
too
Chris
that
and
even
buttery.
a
Mark say
thing?
that apparently.
Yeah,
I
no.
I would think Bruno would argue.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
Bruno would be like,
yeah. Just
that's
like,
a good
He
this is
would be
too
point.
like, "What do
buttery.
you mean?
Yeah. I think,
Is there
but
something wrong with that?"
yeah, I know. But like, I find sometimes like you break it up with a little bit more salt in it,
Hmm.
Mm, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
that
Yeah.
helps. Yeah,
Salt
yeah.
is salt is
Hmm.
ah,
Yeah, it
like it
fixes
fixes
everything.
everything.
I
Almost.
love
Yeah.
it. Christina comes alive at certain things. So we
Salt.
talk about brown butter. Ah!
Oh,
We talk
brown
Yes.
about
butter is
salt.
magical. Yeah, yeah,
She's
yeah.
like, can we have a moment for insert
Brown
Brown,
butter?
ingredient here?
right?
Yeah,
Yes. Yeah, because we yeah, exactly. Can we have a moment for
oh, for
salt
brown.
today?
Yeah, let's have a moment for salt. Yeah,
I
very
mean, yeah,
important in baking. Very,
yeah,
It
very important
really
in
is. It
baking.
really
so
is.
Yeah,
And
good.
it
yeah.
took me a long time to figure that out too,
Hmm.
because I thought it's counterintuitive. Like, why would you add salt to something? Because you want it sweet. And then, when I was
Yeah.
younger, right? And then
Yeah,
I'm like,
Hmm.
oh, this makes such a big difference. Like
yeah.
it really enhances all the other
I
flavors.
I don't think I bake a cookie without garnishing it in salt, right?
Hmm.
Like
Yeah.
I
Hmm.
don't think I do it anyway. Every cookie I make has
hmm
Maldon salt on top of it,
Yeah.
That Malden
Oh
right?
salt.
Like
yeah,
always
Malden
Maldon
salt.
It's
salt. Yeah,
perfect. So
Yeah.
good.
yeah.
Okay, this episode brought to you by
Malden salt.
Yeah. We need to
free
get you some
advertising.
sponsors. Yeah.
We
We
do.
should add them as a collaborator.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, there you go.
If they
Yeah.
accept that, that's a great
Yeah.
idea.
Exactly, exactly.
I'll
All
just
right.
continue to name drop. Yeah.
Yeah, go for it.
All right. Baking alone in peace and quiet, or baking with friends and all the chaos.
I'm a bake alone.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is definitely something like the virtual baking alongs and things like that. They're fun, but at the same time, they're also very draining.
Yeah, I
So,
bet.
right, like I need some time to recoup after those. But like I
Yeah.
do love just I'm a planner, so generally I'll think about what I'm baking kind of during the week and I'll plan it out and then block off my time on the weekend, and that's sort of my time in the kitchen to kind of do my thing,
Yeah.
and yeah, I love it. I love it. And also like even practicing for the show, Mark stayed out of the kitchen. He was just
Yeah.
like it was just I'm in my creative process, whatever
Mhm.
that might be. And then but yeah, no, I also that's when I actually watch shows that Mark doesn't want to
Oh
watch.
yeah.
So like I don't really like a lot of people listen to music while
Mhm.
they bake.
Mhm.
I actually watch TV shows. I'll put on
Oh.
a TV show or a movie and just have it
Yeah.
play in the background
Yeah.
while I bake. Yeah.
And what's your
Okay.
go-to if you're watching something on TV?
Oh, I like all the like messy stuff like Love is Blind
Okay,
and
all the reality
yeah, like all
smut
those like
shows.
yeah, shows. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are kind of my
Chris was
yeah,
like the
go.
other day, aren't you watching Dirty Naked Island or something right
Yeah,
now?
yeah. What's that? I need to write that
Ah,
down. Like I need another
find
show.
it. Temptation Island was pretty good this season.
Yeah, yeah, there's a bunch of like they kind of spin off each other, right?
Yeah.
And now like Love is Blind, there's like Love is Blind UK, Love is Blind
Yes.
Sweden, Love is Blind,
Mm.
right? Like and
Yeah.
so
As long as
yeah, I
it's not
tend
with
to go.
subtitles, it's great for baking.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. Yeah,
Um,
that's also
the
true. Yeah.
the Later Daters, have you seen that?
No, I haven't.
On Netflix.
No,
It's
another one.
people in their 50s and 60s
Okay.
dating. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Michelle Obama actually.
Really?
No way. Really? Okay.
It's quite good. Very fun. I
Okay.
enjoyed it. So there you
Yeah.
go.
Wow.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, I need more shows like that. They're just like so easy to, yeah, just easy to put in the, and you don't really need to pay too much attention
Right.
to them,
They're
Mhm.
right? So
mindless in
Yeah.
a
yeah,
way.
they're
Yeah.
mindless. Yeah.
And also
Yeah.
heartwarming and also
Heartwarming. Yeah, agreed. Yeah, a lot of them
shocking.
do. A lot of
All
them
the
are
feels.
heartwarming too, right? Yeah. So I can like turn off the mixer and be like, oh. and then turn
Yeah.
the mixer back on and
As you're
keep going.
wiping tears.
Yeah, tears from my yeah.
There's extra salt for the buttercream.
Yeah,
Yeah. Oh,
yeah. No.
Maybe not. Okay. Not.
Okay.
Let's not have a moment for tears.
Yeah.
Okay. Signature challenge, technical challenge, or
Mhm.
showstopper.
Well, considering I came last in three of the seven technicals I did, the
wonderful it is.
yeah, yeah, no, I actually thought those were going to be my favorite, but they weren't. The showstopper for sure, right? Like it's you got a more amount of time, number one. Number two, you could tell like just like it could tell a bigger story or a more
Mhm.
creative story with
Yeah.
it. Um, you could just get more creative with it. It was just bigger scale. You don't like how often are you doing showstoppers like that at home,
Yep.
right? And so that was really fun. I think that was the challenge that I probably learned the most off of too, in terms
Right.
of because a lot of you think you know a lot kind of going in, but then you're trying to figure out new techniques and things. And I think the showstopper bakes are a great canvas for
Mhm.
learning as well. And for me, it was always the redemption bake, right?
Mhm.
It
Yeah.
was my redemption because
After the technical.
after the technical, and
Yeah.
so and I think because I generally did okay at them, I always consider them my redemption bake every
Yeah.
episode. And so
Yeah.
yeah, it
I can see
was
that.
yeah, they were
Yeah,
cool.
that
Yeah.
makes
Coming back
sense.
from a technical, you're like, okay, new day, fresh start. Here
Exactly.
we
Like,
go.
yeah, you
Let's
just
go
you went
big.
it like, you had one thing to like because people have mentioned, but on the first
Mhm.
day it's usually signature technical, and then showstopper day you just bake the showstopper. And you're going in, you have one thing to do,
Mhm.
right? And like I said, I like to do focus on one thing, and
Yes.
so it was just it was a nice like 4 or 5 hours of just like being able to kind of do do your thing, right? So yeah, it
Nice.
was
Yeah.
nice. Yeah.
And the other bakers in the background kind of serve as your TV
Yeah.
They do,
background noise.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
they do, yeah. Like there's a lot of background noise,
Hmm.
yeah. But and you can chat with each other, like you kind of joke around a little bit, and interviews are going on,
Yeah.
and yeah, it's fun. Like casting is always coming, like casting producers are always interviewing. Even the camera guys will ask you
Yeah.
questions and things. So there's a lot going on, but at least it's like a nice big chunk of time, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
don't really get worried about time until like maybe there's an hour or 45 minutes left and you realize how much you have to put together. But at
Yeah.
least like that first like 3 hours, it's just like, okay, right? Like
It's
it's
You're
pretty
just
good. You're
chill.
it's just
good.
chill.
Yeah.
Hopefully everything kind of comes together and yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Nice. Nice.
Love it.
All right. Toronto hustle or the
Mm.
calmness of Niagara?
Oh no.
He
I
doesn't like
think I
that one.
gave the hint. Yeah. Um Oh, Niagara is very different from now than when I grew up there,
Sure.
and I could when I was a teenager couldn't wait to get out of Niagara.
Yeah.
But I also never thought I'd live in Toronto either. I moved to Toronto for love. I lived in Guelph before that, but yeah, Toronto is just like everything you need is within a 2 block radius,
Yeah,
right?
that's nice.
Restaurants and food are fantastic.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Um, like the chosen family is there too, right? And that's having a circle of friends are there. A lot of my childhood friends are we're not even in Niagara anymore,
Mhm.
but my family's still there. My parents, my sisters are all still there, and it's still a nice to visit. But it's also very driven tourism
Yeah.
wise, right?
It is.
So
Yeah.
Were
yeah,
you right in
yeah.
Niagara Falls or like
Oh
more
yeah.
Niagara on the lake?
Yeah, so no, not I have a family that live in Niagara on the Lake.
Hmm.
But no, we were right in Niagara Falls.
Mm.
You could see, do you know what the Skylon Tower is? So it's like
Can't
Niagara's
remember.
version. Skylon Tower is like Niagara Falls' version of the CN Tower,
Okay.
basically. And you
Oh
could
yeah.
you could
Okay.
see it. You could see it from my house
Oh, okay.
where
Oh,
I
so you
where I
were,
grew up, and my street that I lived on. You could just walk directly down it for about 10 minutes, and at the end of it, there was a path that went right down to the falls.
oh, wow.
So yeah, yeah. So
That's
it was
cool.
about yeah, and my where
But
my sister
Yeah.
lives now, you can hear the falls from her
Oh,
her
wow.
house. Yeah.
I
Huh.
loved it there so much, and it's it was so strange to me when I went there for the first time and just we're driving from where did we come from? North York, I think.
Mhm.
Something like that. And just driving and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, you're just literally driving along and then there's the falls right there." And it
Yep.
to me was so
It's a pretty
awe-inspiring.
cool,
It's
yeah, it's a pretty
Yes.
cool
beautiful.
thing in nature, right? Like
Yes.
Yes.
to be where it is. It's really neat. It was neat growing up there because nobody ever believed me that I grew up there. Right? Like, oh, you're from Niagara Falls. People live in Niagara Falls.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, there's 80,000 of us that live there.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't realize the
But
population was that large,
yeah,
actually.
yeah, probably a little bit more now. But yeah, no, it's very it's also like a really unique area of the province, and like we can grow peaches there, right?
Mhm.
Like that Niagara peaches competing with BC peaches, right? Like it's and cherries, and like we get all
Mhm.
the stone fruit
Stone
that
fruits and
yeah that
yeah,
you folks do in
yeah,
BC. So
apricots
really,
and
yeah,
nectarines.
yeah,
Yeah,
nectarine. Yeah,
yeah,
it's a
nice.
wine, right?
Yeah,
Like
wine.
in
Yeah, all the
Niagara
wine
wine.
there.
Yeah,
Yes.
so it's in terms of really like growing up really like it was really tourism based, but
Hmm.
it's also like a pretty cool like unique spot,
Hmm.
right? Like some really
I,
cool natural features and just the climate and it being able to kind of grow. So it was kind of a cool place in that respect to grow up in.
yeah.
Yeah.
What's that
But
funky
yeah.
street again? I can't remember what
Oh,
it's called.
Clifton Hill.
Clifton Hill. That
Yeah,
was
yeah.
fun.
Yeah,
But
it's
yeah, you grew up
pretty.
like in the middle of all that, so it's not
Well, I had
exciting to
jobs,
you.
right? Like all my jobs
Right.
were
Oh,
like growing up were around there.
tourism.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I worked right by the falls. I kept ice cream carts filled. Like I had a job just keeping ice cream carts filled for a couple summers. I worked at a souvenir store on
Cool.
Clifton Hill.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had all the like yeah, all the
All
weird
the the
Niagara
weird
Falls jobs.
touristy.
Yeah, touristy
I
What was
mean,
jobs. Yeah.
I
what was
live in
the
That was
Victoria, right? So a lot
yeah.
of touristy support jobs in the
yeah.
summertime for
Yeah,
sure. Yeah.
yeah. Well, but I think also growing up as a kid, like there was just no shortage of jobs for
Mhm. Yeah,
teenagers
that's
there either,
cool.
right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it was
Yeah.
very easy to get summer employment as a teenager. So
That's
Nice.
yeah,
great.
great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. What was the
Mhm.
weirdest souvenir that you
Oh.
either sold or that somebody was looking for?
So I worked at a souvenir store that did wax molds of people's hands.
Ew.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
Why?
so you would go
yeah.
in and get your hand like
Yeah, so the store that the souvenir store I worked at for a couple summers, it was called the Fun Factory, and so it had a bunch of like kitschy kind of Niagara souvenir things, and then you could also do wax molds of your hands. So there was like big it was like it was heated, and there were big vats of like wax, and so
Ooh.
like just like white wax, and then there was different colored waxes. And I did a couple shifts there because I also one summer I kind of was a supervisor there, so I had to know how to do everything. And I was taught how to do it. And basically, like somebody will walk in and you put a hand moisturizer all up their arm basically, and then you dip their hand in the hot wax, like not like scalding hot, but
Yeah.
yeah.
like bath, like maybe shower temperature. And then you once they for it's a mold, if they want a color, then you dip it in the colored wax, and then you just kind of massage. You have to prick the fingers to let the air out, so the suction kind of releases, and then you can mold and massage the wax off the hand, and then you can fill it up with like little wax pebbles or something like that to give it a little bit of weight and structure. And yeah, and then people could do it together. You could like have
Oh,
a
holding hands.
Oh,
partners come in like holding hands and do it that way and stuff. Yeah, yeah. So weird.
Did
Yeah.
people do a lot of middle fingers?
Oh yeah, there were middle
Yeah.
fingers. Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah.
or
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
hey.
That one, I think the
Or
thumbs up was a little bit more. Yeah, that one they did a lot. Yeah, yeah, that one they did a lot. Yeah, it just sometimes fists were a little bit more difficult to kind of get off, but yeah, yeah, it's
that's
just
hilarious.
And did they
mhm.
ever
It's still there.
request it
Yeah.
to do other body parts?
So we got that asked all the time.
Yeah,
I feel
I'm
like
just curious.
I'm back in 2003 and
I'm sorry, it's very
working at the
curious.
store. Yeah, no, people come in and like I ask all the time feet and other
Other things?
appendages. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, we got asked that all the time. We were restricted to just
Okay, so
hands.
you
Yeah.
said no.
Yeah, no. There's certain things you just don't want to massage wax off of, right? I guess.
I was, nope, nope.
Nope, nope,
Nope.
no, I'm not editing this. Okay. Well, we're gonna have to
All
check
right.
that out when we do our cross Canada tour, and we'll
We
come
definitely have to
to
yeah,
you
stop
for
in
yeah.
Niagara then.
researching.
Honestly, like if you come down, I'll be your tour guide in Niagara, and
It's
I'll take you
Yes,
to
awesome.
Niagara Falls. I'll take you to
please.
all the hot spots. Yeah,
That would be
yeah,
so fun. Yeah, that would be
yeah,
great. Okay,
yeah.
moving on.
Yes,
Um,
let us move on.
moving on. So, baking show feedback. Kyla's precision or Bruno's passion?
Oh, that's a great. A lot of the food back I got from Bruno was like it's gummy, but
It's gummy.
but it's gummy. Both of they were really. I'm gonna be like
You can do
just
that. That's
yeah.
okay. Be
I
You
think
can
diplomatic.
be
both of
Larry.
them. Yeah, both of them had like had a place in terms of the
Mhm.
comments, right? Like
Yeah.
and both the feedback was really valuable, and I think like
Hmm.
it was great for like your next bake, right? You can make modifications and things like that. um yeah, I like getting feedback from both of them. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
great. Like they both had different takes. I think like for Bruno, I think it was like a lot more of the technical aspects of your
Mhm.
baking, and then
Yeah.
Kyla, it was just like she got really excited about flavor
Hmm.
and the way it looked and aesthetics. So they really played down like kind of played off each other.
Yeah.
So um
There's such a great
really
balance.
great.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
are. And they're so kind as well.
Yeah.
Like with the, when you think of like Paul Hollywood as an example,
Yeah.
who has his own very
Yeah.
distinctive style and it works
Yeah.
and everything, but there's just some kindness and it's more like a constructive feedback,
For sure.
to
It's hard to judge baking, right? Like a lot
oh,
of things about baking
totally.
is just like
Yeah.
really it's subjective, right?
Subjective.
And especially around flavor and sometimes even texture, right? Like
Yeah.
it's a
Decor.
difficult thing.
Yeah.
Decor, right?
Yeah.
Like it's very subjective, really up
Mhm.
to but I think they both do a really good job of
Mhm.
like kind of setting aside um some of their maybe their preferences on
Yeah.
things and being able to really like zoom into like what's important here, like the baking. Like I know maybe I don't like this flavor,
Yep.
but it, but maybe the texture is really great and like I can focus on that aspect of it and that sort of thing,
Yeah.
right? Like I think it's great also that there's two of them,
Yeah.
Mhm.
right? So if, so they can take a different perspective on things because
Mhm.
they do probably have similar tastes, but they also have very different tastes as well.
Mhm.
So
Totally.
good to get
Yeah.
those perspectives. Yeah.
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 Mhm.
I
Yeah.
really, really hope that they both stay on for the
All
entire
four of them,
run
the
of the
four of
show.
them are
All
great,
of them.
right? Like
Yeah.
the
Yes.
hosts,
All
yeah,
Yeah.
they've found their
yeah.
magic formula. I
Oh,
think.
They found the groove. Yeah,
yeah.
it's
And
yeah, it's good.
yeah,
Hmm.
and every year
Cohesion.
it seems to get better and better. And I think we
Yeah,
talked about this. I just love how they're doing more stuff outside of just the show. Like their
yeah,
social media presence is a lot
yeah, yeah,
bigger, and they're doing more of that fun vignette kind of little skits and things like that,
yeah,
just to bring some of that humor and lightness and fun
to the show.
into
Yeah,
the show as well.
yeah,
Yeah.
agreed.
And
Yeah,
to
no,
do
they're
that with
great.
the bakers too, I think it's just fun to watch. It's
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah.
no, it's great. Yeah, both like you could always like really depend on Anne and Alan like just coming over and just like kind of like just having fun, keeping you kind of grounded, like reminding you why you were there, right? Like just
Mhm.
to have fun. Like
Nice.
this is fun. This is a fun experience, right? And so yeah, both of them like the way they play off each other and yeah, it's good. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a good dynamic. Yeah.
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 Wonderful.
Very cool. Cool.
Hmm.
All right. Sourdough starter or cake batter forever?
Oh, cake batter forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ever, ever.
Ever and
Forever,
ever.
ever. So I have sourdough starter. Candace actually gifted me
Oh,
her. So my sourdough starter, it's named after her. It's her name is Candy, and
There's a lot of pressure in naming it after somebody you know.
I know, but and Candace is like my like sourdough. Like if I have questions about sourdough,
Is the
it's
queen.
it's
Yeah.
it's it's a lot of planning, right? Like it's a
Mhm.
lot of
Mhm.
like, yeah, I love it. It's fun. It's kind of, but it's also I'm a very and new at it too. So like one
Yeah.
day you just get like this perfect loaf, and
Mhm.
you're like, oh, I think I have this. I know how to do this. And then the next week you do it, and like, oh, what happened here, right? Like it's
Yeah.
just it's a lot. I think it's cool. I think the science behind it, the different ratios and hydrations and that sort of thing is really cool. It just to me it's a little bit more planning.
Hmm.
And so I
Hmm.
need to know that like I'm going to have like 48 hours, right? Of like I
Mhm.
know I'm going
Yeah.
to be home and I'm
Yeah.
going to be able to like feed it, get it ready, do like the turn, like all that stuff. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't do it all that often, but cakes, like you can whip up a batter
Yeah.
and make a cake
Yeah.
in an afternoon, right? So it's,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But great satisfaction in baking both of those things.
I agree. Yeah, there's
Pretty well.
totally, yeah. When I bake sourdough and it comes out and it's has a great crumb and
Mhm.
feel great. And then if it doesn't come out, I put it in the fridge in the back of the fridge for a
Yeah.
few
Yeah.
weeks. And like, you need a little bit of a
Years.
break. Yeah, that's the
You
great thing
need to
about
cool
actually.
off a little.
Yeah, that's the great thing about sourdough
Yeah.
too, right? Like it's just like
Totally.
you do it, like you just have a bad moment with it. I'm like, maybe we just need to take a break for a little bit,
Yeah.
and then put you in the back of the fridge, and then okay, I have
Yeah.
48 hours where I can like dedicate to making a
Yeah.
sourdough loaf and go for it. But yeah.
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 I'm
I've
gonna
heard.
plug my, sorry, I'm gonna
Oh
plug
no.
my daughter's Instagram right now
Oh
because
yeah.
my
Yeah.
daughter is the sourdough queen.
Hmm.
I don't do sourdough. I have a starter that I don't know how many years it has been sitting in the back of my fridge, but I did it for a little while and it was not successful. But she has gotten into it recently and she's
So
so
good
good
at
at
it.
it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Selah D.
So
Beck.
follow. I
So
will follow. Yeah.
Selah, Selah D.
Yeah.
Beck. And
Does
she's
she kind of like
really
give like tips and stuff too?
she shows little, like she did this
Oh,
one where
okay.
she
That's
was
good. Maybe I'll
saying you
follow.
don't really need much starter feed it anyway. Like her jar looks
Yeah.
almost completely empty and like little things that I don't think about, but she's
Yeah.
literally making them every day.
Oh, great.
And so she made a mini egg loaf. She did
Oh,
some,
nice.
Oh my gosh.
I
yeah, she
love
did a bunch of different
That's
things.
cool.
I
She did
love
one
that
shaped
Okay.
she
like a bunny. You saw the bunny one?
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. I
Few people have
loved
done that.
the one that she posed how
Oh,
somebody would pose with the fish. Like a
yes.
guy
Oh.
would pose with the fish.
I
That
think
was
I did you share? I think I saw that
I
one.
shared a
Yeah.
couple
yeah,
of
Yeah,
hers just
that
shared
because
a
was
I was
couple
fun.
of
like,
them.
you know
Yeah.
what? I don't do the sourdough. I got to make sure that people see how amazing my daughter is. Like, she's carrying on the baking legacy with just that one thing. And
Yeah.
Nice.
There are certain things that people are really, really great at, and I would
Mhm.
just rather get something from them than
yeah,
do it like some
hear
there's
you.
like sourdough, sometimes it's just one of those things, right? It's just like I know people who can do it. So
Yeah.
I will gladly take loaves of sourdough off
Oh,
your hands,
me
right?
too. Yeah. She
Yeah,
brings me
so
sourdough and I'm a happy lady. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
The other one, if you like sourdough, there's a lady locally in the Lower Mainland here. Her name is Gia, and she's got a
Okay.
Instagram handles Gia's Batch,
Okay.
and she posts a ton of stuff, tips,
there you
recipes,
Okay,
go.
great. Yeah.
shows
No,
her
that's good.
process. It's really
Yeah.
cool to watch. And then there's one other one that I follow
Do
as well, and I can't remember right now. So I'm
do you
just
want me
gonna
to ask the
try to.
last question while you look for it?
Sure, that sounds good.
Okay. You probably know what this question is, Andrew.
Oh, I do.
And
Okay,
it's the
this one,
most
yeah.
important one where there may or may not be judgment.
Yeah, you
Just
know all about
saying.
the judgment.
Just saying.
All right. Butter tarts,
Uh-huh.
raisins or no raisins?
Raisins. Raisins.
Raisin!
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Look at her
Oh, sorry.
face.
Sorry.
Raisins. Yeah,
Oh,
raisins.
Andrew.
Yeah, yeah.
Christina,
I'm a
you're
raisin.
so...
I'm a raisin fan. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That's too funny. Okay.
Every single time I make butter tarts, they have raisins in them. Yeah.
Every single time?
Every single time. Yeah. I have made them. I put chocolate chips in the bottom of them a couple times,
Oh, and
but
raisin.
oh no, not both. Yeah,
Okay.
no,
I
both.
was
Just
like, oh,
yeah.
like
No,
glacé
no.
butter tart.
Yeah, no, no.
Glossette butter
Actually,
tarts.
I'm like, That's
That
an
might be an
idea.
interesting
Let's-
combo,
That's an
actually.
Let's think
idea.
about
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, that's an idea. But yeah, I know I'm a big fan of raisins.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like it's even a few of my bakes on the show had raisins in them.
Mm.
Big fan of raisins. I like it in bread. I like it like cookies. Yeah.
Do you still like
I
candy?
even put raisins in my carrot cake. Yeah.
Oh, yes,
Hmm.
she's really upset now.
So raisins,
Have
there's a
their
place
place. Here she
for
goes.
them.
Place for raisins.
We've
Yeah.
heard this
Breads,
before.
bread
Yeah.
and
Tell us
oatmeal
anyway.
and oatmeal cookies.
And butter tarts.
And cinnamon raisin bagels.
Cinnamon raisin
Yes.
bagels, I will,
Bagels,
but it's
yeah.
the bread. Yeah.
Yeah, bread. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I like raisins.
Cinnamon buns.
Not really.
Uh, yeah, like I'll put actually cinnamon buns don't need it.
There
Yeah,
we
they don't
go.
need it.
Good
I can
answer.
put I can
Good
put
answer.
raisin. I probably would still enjoy them, but yeah, when I make cinnamon buns, I don't. I'm doing brown butter, cream cheese
Mm,
frosting on it, and I also like
yes.
putting orange zest in my dough.
Nice. That
Oh,
sounds
yeah,
like really good. Yeah.
that would
Yeah,
be good.
Good
yeah,
adding.
that's sort of my
Okay.
go-to. Yeah.
All right.
Nice. Nice.
Christina, is everything okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
I'm sorry. This conversation
That's
was going
okay.
so well.
I know
So
it
well.
really was. I mean, thank
You
God we're almost done.
You almost have to
So,
do this at the beginning, right? Like just get it out of the way. Now we're going to leave this conversation with the impression that like Lisa and I are good
Yep.
and Christina and I are just like not on great terms now.
no, we're okay. I can get past that because you know what? I loved all your other answers.
Okay, perfect.
It's been a really wonderful conversation.
It's been
And
fun. This
you
has
know,
been
it's
great.
all fun. It's all
Yeah,
fun.
it's all
Really,
fun.
at the
Yeah.
end of the day, and we say this all the time, right? It's everybody has their own tastes and
Mhm.
that's all good, right? Everybody
Yeah.
can and that's the beauty of baking.
Baking.
Do
Yeah.
what is right for you.
These
Lisa's
days,
Yeah.
dying.
one
Yeah.
of these days, I am going to do a video montage of every single time that Christina says, and that's the wonderful thing about baking. And that's the beauty of baking. And
So
that's
But
the
like,
great thing
have you
about
done
baking.
have you done a tally of like, because
No,
you're the episode, like how many episodes in, and like see how many people have chosen raisins and no raisins?
no, we
Yeah, we
haven't.
really should do that
Yeah,
actually.
because
Oh.
we're
We
like
should
50
do.
episodes in
It'd be
now.
like a scientific study, right? You could
Yeah.
like publish and
Totally.
Let's write our
Publish
thesis
Publish.
on raisins or no raisins.
Yeah, yeah.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah, yeah.
Did you find the other Instagram handle you wanted to share?
You know what? I can't find it.
Okay.
Oh, send it to me. You
So
send it to me in
I'll send
a
it to you.
DM.
I'll
Yeah.
send it to you as a DM.
Mhm.
And yeah, but there's so many great, like I said, so many fabulous.
Oh, there's so many
to
people can follow. Yeah, so many
Yeah.
people. Yeah,
That's so
yeah, it's
awesome.
great.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very
All
cool.
right. Well,
All right.
we're getting close to wrapping this up, but
Oh.
do you have a baking scrap
Oh, baking scrap.
there?
Mhm.
Yes, yeah, I do actually, and I think so. I think my baking scrap has like a number of purposes
Okay.
to it. Like it's multi-purpose. So when I cool things, I usually use a baking tray, right?
Okay.
Because and I usually line it in plastic wrap. And so there's a few reasons why I do that. Number one, especially if I'm making acidic like curds, like lemon curd or grapefruit curd or something, depending on the quality of the pan, like if it's not a stainless steel pan, sometimes like if you're putting it directly on the metal sheet pan, it absorbs the metallic flavor of it. So so I always, and even with bowls, like metal bowls, I'll line them as well, just in case. You just never know, because there's nothing more angering than having to toss a batch of curd. And I do it with pastry creams too. Anything that I'm cooling, I always line the baking sheet with plastic wrap. And then more surface area, right? So it cools faster. And it's not when you're baking in a tent, that's what you want. So that, and then easy cleanup.
Yes.
Right. Like, and that easy cleanup, right? So it's just like you scrape everything off you need, you bowl it up, and then you have a clean pan. So
yeah. And I was
that's my
thinking
go-to.
you could also probably easy to kind of put it in whatever you're putting it in after, because you can just like
You
grab
just
all
lift it up. Yeah.
lift it up and like whoosh, So
That's it.
yeah.
Yeah, that's it too. Yeah. So like yeah, pastry creams and curds, because like often you put them in the fridge, you need to give them a little bit of a mix afterwards,
Mhm.
right? So you just kind of scrape it all out, like
Yeah.
whatever,
Yeah.
and
Like bring
then
it
into a
out
bowl and
kind of
yeah, mix
thing,
it.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
If people are
Yeah.
listening, they're going, what are they doing?
It's,
I
I know.
know.
Yeah, I
This
know.
What
is
better
very
watch
I'm like, I
visual.
feel
YouTube?
like this is an episode you need to watch on YouTube. Yeah.
Yes. Yes, because
Yeah.
it's
So
even hard to describe the way you're showing the
Yeah,
whoosh.
but you know what we're doing, right? Like you
yeah.
kind of like you got all the little bits and then you
Yeah,
just like
you
wrap
just
it all up
Mhm.
to, yeah, you like wrap it all up together and then just like
Squeeze it out. Yeah.
squeeze it.
Yeah,
squeeze
squeeze
it.
it.
Probably a
Yeah.
good way
Squeeze
of
it out
doing
of the
it.
Yeah.
Yes.
plastic.
Yeah. So a
That is a great,
multi-part purpose. Yeah, for
Yes.
sure. Yeah.
Love it.
that's
That's
really
great.
good. And
Mhm.
it's a good
We
reminder because of the
Yeah,
whole
like
idea
it,
of cooling it
you
down
just don't
quick.
think about yeah, cooling it down quickly. And I think that just
Mhm.
like sometimes you just real like you're using a pan, you're somewhere, maybe you're somewhere else, and you just automatically are gonna cool something on a surface, and you just don't real you don't know where that pan what that pan is made of, and you
Yeah,
don't want the flavor of that pan
yeah.
in your
Mm.
pastry cream or curd or whatever, right? So
What
Yeah.
do you use to, like, if you're whisking up something that's acidic, are you using like a silicone whisk or are you using
oh,
a
I use a yeah,
spoon or
actually, yeah, that's a. I use the metal. I have stainless steel, so yeah, I use metal
yeah.
normally. But yeah, that's a good point too, right? Like if you're whisking and you don't want the flavor of the heat, the reaction between the heat, the acid, and the
Mhm.
metal. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, but yeah.
Awesome. This has been
Cool.
so much fun.
I know. I was going to ask Andrew for one more. It's sort of baking scrap because, as you know, some of the bakers for season 9 have probably gotten the news that they're going to be in the
Oh,
tent, right?
Yes.
And
yes.
heading to the tent soon,
Hmm.
They're
if
going
they're not
soon.
already there by the time we air. What is your one piece of advice for them if they happen to be listening to us?
They're listening to. There, the one thing I would have, one piece of advice I would have, maybe there's kind of two. Like one's a little bit more mental, and the other one's probably a little bit more. So the first one is, I think there's everybody doesn't like to bake everything, right? There are going to be elements of bakes that you don't like, and I think you probably interviewed a few of us who don't like technicals, and I really think your attitude and your mentality going into a bake is going to impact how you do in that bake.
Hmm.
So, and I think that happened to me a lot in the technicals, and I think you need to find a way to pump yourself up and get yourself excited about a bake, because that I think it's really going to make you do better. And I think that's why a lot of like for myself, maybe I did better in the signatures and the showstoppers because I was excited about them.
Mhm.
I had stories to tell through them. I love the flavors. So it's going to get you more excited about baking those particular things. So if you're finding one of those bakes to be challenging, figure out a way to pump yourself up and get you really excited about it, because you're going to you're gonna do better, right?
Hmm. Awesome.
The other piece of advice, like more on a technical scale, I would say have a plan B. So
Yes.
yeah, so I would say because you never know what the atmosphere or what's going to be happening in the tent on that particular day, and
Mhm.
obviously sometimes like like recipes, it's very hard to pivot and have a plan B. But sometimes you do have something that you can pivot to, and an example of that is in my season 7, the semifinal, my religieuse that I had to make.
Yeah.
My plan was to actually do whipped white chocolate ganache to do all the details of my dog on the religieuse, and I was just like, oh, I don't know what the temperature is going to be like in that tent, right? And so I was thought, okay, I need to have a plan B. And of course, when I went into that tent and was making a whipped white chocolate ganache, it kept splitting on me,
Mhm.
and I had to go to plan B, which was just a stabilized whipped cream.
Yeah.
And judges didn't know. Judges would not have
Mhm.
taken any notice of it. Still got what I needed in
Yep.
the
Still
details
tasted
on my
great.
religieuse, and it still did. So, and there was a few bakes throughout the season that I had what I wanted to do, and I had a plan B just in case something
A backup.
didn't
Yeah.
work, a
Nice.
backup that didn't work out, right?
That's cool.
Fabulous.
Because you do like there are some things that like if something doesn't go right, that it's hard to
Mhm.
start over, but there are some things that like you can, right? Like there's opportunities to be able to pivot and do something different and still execute what you wanted to execute. So
Yeah.
yeah,
No,
yeah.
that is awesome. You're
Mm,
setting up a lot of bakers for some good success in that tent
of course, that's
for
what I
season
want.
9. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I want. I want everybody in that tent to do well. I want us sitting at home just wondering who's going to be the winner because everybody is doing so
Oh,
well.
wow.
And
Right.
that's why we all tune in, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
For
what we had last
yeah.
season,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Wow.
tough. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So excited.
Very
So
cool.
excited for all of
Exactly.
them. Not us this year, but that's okay.
Oh, next year, 2026, 2027. I told when I was doing my auditions, they were like, "Are you going to keep on?" I was like, "I'll be in season 42 and I would be
Yeah.
applying for the show. I'd probably be like 85 at that point, but I'll
You'll
keep
have a
keep
good
going.
story.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah, and yeah, it's just one little blip on your baking story. You have
Oh,
so
for
much
sure.
other stuff going on, right?
So
So
Yeah,
true.
having other
absolutely.
goals and other things going on that get you excited,
Yeah.
that's I think that's what yeah,
Yeah.
we
Worth
need
everything
in
for
something
sure.
like
Yeah,
that.
and we're
Yeah.
hoping that the season 9 bakers will be hopefully excited to have conversations with us like all the season 8 bakers did,
Mhm.
and we can meet them
Yeah.
and have a great conversation just like we've had with you, Andrew. And
Yeah,
it's
thank you.
been so wonderful to
It's
finally
been fun.
connect.
This is great. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah,
We had a blast.
you're filling to me, you're filling a gap in the baking podcast
Hmm.
um
Thank
we
you.
world and you're both really great interviewers, really fun to listen to, really inclusive, right? Just welcoming people to come in and keep doing it because it's like one of my top podcasts I listen to. So
Oh,
it's great.
Thank
well,
Yeah.
you.
thank
Yeah,
you.
it's really
That
good.
that
Yeah.
Thank
means
you
so
so much.
much to us.
Mhm.
Really, we pinch ourselves because we have the opportunity to do this,
Yeah.
and we couldn't do it without support from people like
Yeah.
you who are willing to share their stories and come on and have some
Mhm.
fun with us
Yeah.
and enjoy a conversation with us. So again, thank you, and thank you for all
Yes.
the very kind words. It does
Of
Well,
so mean a
course.
lot to us.
Let's do
Thank you.
this in person. If I'm ever in
yes,
BC
Yes,
or you're in Toronto or
for
in
yeah,
Ontario,
sure,
let's do
for
it.
sure.
for
Yeah.
Yeah.
sure,
Yeah.
Come find us.
That'd be
You
absolutely.
let
fun.
us know if you're here
Geek
and
out on baking. Yeah.
Oh,
love
right,
it. Can't
so
Yeah.
wait.
much fun.
Thanks
All
so
All
right,
much,
right.
Andrew.
Yeah. Thanks so much
thank
for this. This has been great. Going
Thank
thank
into
you,
the
you.
Andrew.
weekend, like just really happy.
Oh,
Okay.
so
We'll talk
Awesome.
glad.
soon. Yeah.
You
See ya.
too.
Bye.
Okay.
Bye. I'm
Ah,
so glad that we finally got to chat with
yes,
Andrew.
I know. And what a sweet human being he is. Like
Honestly, could
all
just
the
talk to
time.
him every day, and I
Right.
think it would still be a really great podcast.
Yeah, I agree with you. Just easy. I mean, what a easy conversation. Just lovely. It was so nice to hear how, how his life is now and how a Great Canadian Baking Show really kind of changed his focus and
Mm.
made him realize what was really important to him, which is having that work-life balance. And so I'm
Yeah.
so happy that he was able to find a way to make that work
Hmm.
and be able to enjoy all the things that
Yeah.
he so richly deserves. So
Inspirational. I mean, it's difficult to make decisions like that, but when you have those catalytic moments that you're like, you know what, this needs to change, it's
mhm.
so amazing when you make those decisions and move forward with it in your life. So,
Yeah,
uh,
absolutely.
have you had to do that?
Well, yeah.
You're like, Lisa, come on, how many years have I been alive?
Yeah. No, I mean, sorry,
Circumstantial things.
circumstantial things, right? I
Yeah,
mean, I think, I mean, you know my
I
history,
know.
right?
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
I don't know that everybody knows my history. I don't know if this is the time and place to share
Sure.
that history. However, I will say that yes, definitely a catalyst in
Hmm.
life that makes you reevaluate what your priorities are. I think
Hmm.
most people know what their priorities are. I think life just gets super busy and you forget or you
Yeah.
take for granted all of the things around you and people around you until they're not there anymore.
Yeah.
And then that kind of hits home and kind of makes you, yeah, reevaluate life and
Evaluate.
priorities and reset. So, yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah,
many different stages in our lives, but this stage is really fun. I'm enjoying this part.
This is not horrible, right?
Not horrible at
Not
all.
horrible at all. I'm grateful.
And
Uh,
the catalyst for us also, not getting on the show last year and developing a closer relationship and being able to have this community that we have and thinking
mhm.
of, you know, people walking to work and listening to us is amazing to me.
It's
That
so
makes me
cool.
feel so, so, so good.
I know. And it makes all of this a little worthwhile, right? Like, I mean, we're doing this for fun. It's a great outlet for us.
Yeah,
It's wonderful that we have the opportunity to have so many wonderful conversations, but it's so incredibly um what's
fulfilling.
the word? It is. It's fulfilling for us to know that other people are really enjoying this
Yeah.
and the conversations that we're having.
Mhm.
And that means the world to us. It really,
Yeah.
really does. And you know,
It's amazing that you can have so many conversations about baking and have
totally.
them all be so different and
Yeah.
people's experiences and people's, journeys and you can ask the same question over and over and over of all these different people and get so many different and interesting answers. I just love it.
Yeah. Same here.
Yeah,
It's really cool. It's like baking. You
it's
can
like
bake
baking.
something different every single day and never run out of something new to bake. And
That's
that's
true.
yeah, super, super cool.
Sometimes you can make the same recipe and it will turn out different.
Right?
Unfortunately.
Macarons comes to mind.
Well, thank you all for joining us
Yes.
on
Thank you.
Baking Scraps Sweet Talk today, and we look forward to our next episode. So come back and see us again. And in the meantime,
Happy baking.
happy baking.